What's happening? It's Todd McShay, and I'm back with a new home and a new show at The Ringer and Spotify. The McShay Show. It's a video and audio podcast coming to you year-round with all my NFL draft information, big boards, mock drafts, and player movement. Plus, I'll be chatting with some of my best friends in football, including some of your favorite football analysts. During the week, we'll have episodes on Tuesdays and Thursdays that'll include discussions about my player rankings, who's rising, who's falling, and who your NFL team should be keeping an eye on. Plus, we'll be reacting each week to the college football playoff polls and giving you previews and picks for each Saturday slate. In addition, I'll have episodes on Saturday nights with my immediate reaction to the full day in college football every week. So if you love the college game, the NFL, the draft, or all of it like me, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and get ready for the McShay Show on The Ringer, Spotify, and wherever you watch or listen to podcasts.
The Rewatchables is brought to you by the Ringer Podcast Network, where normally Kyle Brandt is on a Zoom. And this week, he is here in LA. He was here for football stuff. We realized that we hadn't even been in the same room together looking at each other since like 2008, February, helmet catch.
The night before the helmet catch at a Super Bowl party.
Is that why the Pats lost?
Exactly why. Yes. We drank tequila and talked about the real world.
I just peppered you with real world questions.
Nonstop.
And then from that point on, we've only talked on the phone and Zooms.
And Zoom.
And we've done a bunch of pods together.
Yes.
And now you're here. And now we're talking about what I think is one of the great Christmas movies of all time.
I love this movie, Bill. I'm ready.
Home Alone 2, Lost in New York is next.
Check in.
Reservation for McAllister?
To the best Christmas movie ever.
Oh, stop that child!
I don't think so.
Hold it right there. Get down on your knees and tell me you love me. I love you!
Home Alone 2.
Your drawers.
Don't flash these babies around here. There could be girls on this floor.
Rated PG. Now playing at theaters everywhere.
All right, so you send me a list every once in a while.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, we got to do Rewatchable soon. Just send me a couple, some 80s, some 90s.
Sure.
And this was your number one Christmas movie you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Let's have the first discussion. Let's get it out of the way.
Go on.
Home Alone is a Christmas movie for you?
It is, yes. And I know this is a point of contention for you because I listen to the pod. I watch it at Christmas time. I don't watch it any other time of year. So that to me is a Christmas
Does it
movie.
need Christmas to exist?
No. It could be a 4th of July movie when they go to Paris for 4th of July or for a vacation
Spring
weekend.
break.
Yeah. Why not? Sure.
That's
Yes.
my case. This Home Alone 2,
Yes.
Lost in New York, Christmas movie.
What's the difference? Because it needs Christmas?
It really needs Christmas. It gets New York in Christmas. It captures New York at the most fun time to go to the city.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me nostalgic. It makes me want to go to New York for the holidays. There's a giant tree. There's an FAO Schwartz, which is doctored as another toy store. But no, it's very New York-y, very Christmassy, and makes me nostalgic. And I'm in the camp I like this movie more than the original.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Because I think that group is growing.
Yeah.
I've seen these people online, and it's almost unprecedented, but I'm starting to ready to come over for it. Like, get into it. Why? I love Home Alone. You love Home Alone. But the ammunition for the sequel being better is what? Where do you point to? Because I'm not over there yet.
30 plus years of seeing both. The effect that it had on my kids as we went through the stages of watching the Home Alones with the kids. Home Alone 1 is great premise. Home Alone 2, really hard to pull off a sequel where there's no way this situation would ever happen again, which we're talking about. But it just feels like a better, smarter redo of the first movie, which normally I would be against. But in this case, I don't know. I just like it more.
My headline for the movie is really good sequel. And like, when do you say that? Like, when do you say a really good, that's 5% of sequels are really good. You're watching them 30 years later. And what's fun about it, and maybe makes it better than the first, I love how this movie is so unapologetic. Like, we're doing the same thing, dude, and we don't care what you think. And I know a lot of people like, it's the same movie. Like, yep, we got a cool kid, we got an asshole family, we got some idiot criminals, and you're going to pay, and you're going to come see it again. And I absolutely love it. I think if you're making the case for why is it better, the most pivotal part of the sequel, really the only thing they changed up on, the only thing they took a risk on, is the whole Tim Curry performance. Because there's nobody in that first movie. There's no Tim Curry, hotel staff, everything. I think he's great in the movie. And I think if you're saying, why is it better? Tim Curry is fantastic here.
Also, he's protecting his house in the first one.
Yes.
In the second one, he's basically American Psycho. He's
Right.
he's luring these adults
I know.
and just like torturing them for not like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 20-minute scene. So my guy William Goldman, he wrote a New York Magazine essay in 1992 about the holiday season of the movies, where he would ask different people in the industry, "What do you think? What do you hear about this movie?"
Okay.
And a couple of the anonymous people he asked about Home Alone 2, one of the guys said, sequels have changed. You used to know rule of thumb that the second one would do a third less, but now look at the Die Hards and Lethal Weapons. Sequels can do more, but they've got to be exactly like the original. When they go to a sequel, people want comfort.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good way to describe it, because
Yes.
most of the time this doesn't work. But if I'm going to a thing like this, I just want them to run Home Alone back with a different situation.
It feels like when you go to a concert and you're like, can you just play the hits? I'm here.
Right.
I'm nostalgic. When the lead singer says, this one's off our new album. Ah, shit. I'll go get a
Right.
beer. They
Yep.
play the hits here. This is pop music. Like, we're not, this is not The Godfather. This is a little kid who beats the shit out of criminals at Christmas time. It's great. They just do it again and they don't try to make it different. And I love that they didn't.
2 years later.
Yeah.
I'm grabbing a category from later for right now. The
Okay.
Butch's Girlfriend Award for weak link of the film. Because to buy this movie at all, you have to buy the premise that this kid's parents, who have already taken off and gone to Paris without him 2 years ago and left him alone in his house, would somehow leave again without finding that he was not with them.
Yes. And get all the way to baggage in the next airport before they even realized he was gone.
It's a big stretch.
You have to go into this movie like with a mentality. Are you going to sit here and be like, this would never happen, this would never happen, or are you just going to let go? Like, I can't watch this movie with my wife because she constantly says it would never happen. And then the same person always says during the scenes at the end with Harry and Marv, they're like, oh, they'd be dead. Oh, that would have killed them. My wife says that every time they get hit. So I'm like, honey, can we just enjoy the pop music? I know they would never forget him. It's ludicrous, but I accept that they do. And I have some theories on it.
Wait, so my wife loves this movie, but gets really mad at the mom.
Yeah.
And specifically the scene near the end when she goes to talk to the cop and she's like, I know Kevin, he's fine. It's like, your kid's 10. He's in New York City.
No, Kevin's
Kevin's
this is
fine.
Kevin.
He's a survivor.
Yes, that's right. He's smart. He's very independent. And you're like, you are walking through Times Square with flyers past crackheads and people like jerking off in the alleys. And you're looking for your son.
Kevin's 4'2".
No, he's done. He's dead. And
But
the
her
cops are like, all
confidence,
right.
and she's not that sad. Like,
Yes.
my wife, when we were in the Olympics, my wife lost my son for like 4 minutes
Terror.
in a giant park in London and still talks about it like once a week as being the most terrifying moment of her life. This mom is just, it's like she lost her luggage and she's just in baggage claim. Like hey, do you
Fokker.
think it's like a big blue suitcase?
It's a Samsonite. Yeah, can you send it to me? It is your son who you got lost again. She doesn't have nearly enough to panic. But you have to let that go or this movie will torment you. You have to.
Or could they have written in one scene where maybe it's just her and her husband and she's like, I'm the worst mom ever. And she's like, no, you're not, honey. We have so many kids. Like something to acknowledge what a terrible parent you are. They won't have it in this movie.
There's one scene that I think is critical, and it's the parents who are in the police office talking to the Miami cop. And they try some gallows humor where they're like, oddly enough, we've never lost our luggage. Ha 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 ha. And like the cop doesn't think it's funny.
Yeah.
I feel like he's reaching for the panic button under the table and he's calling it in. But that is the only scene where they try to wink at the audience and say, we know this is stupid, but we're going to have Catherine O'Hara be charming and try to laugh through it. But they probably need a little more. It's insane.
Like the bad version of this movie is Kevin's on a cargo plane headed to South America, never to be seen again, given a new identity.
Yeah. We could go
Kevin's mom, I don't think she takes off without seeing him. Kevin on the airplane, not seeing anybody that he's related to, even at age 10, I feel like that would make you nervous at some point. You're on the plane for a while before it takes off.
No screens, no seatback screens. This guy's going to sit there. The flight from Chicago to New York is a good 2 hours. He has no magazine. He has no nothing. And he's like, where? I'm traveling with 9 people. I don't see any of them.
Yeah. He's not going to go to the bathroom and look
So
around.
now we're getting all worked up again.
Well, no, this is the weak link of the film.
Yeah.
But then here's the other part that kills me. They're in Florida and they're checking in. They don't have Kevin. They know they don't have Kevin. And they're like, well, let's see what our hotel room's like. Aren't they on a flight back to, somebody's on a flight back to Chicago?
Because
Well,
last
we've
year
paid
they
for
were in
everything.
France. So like in Florida, like this is nothing. We were across the Atlantic last year eating shrimp and now it's no big deal. The one that drives me crazy, I hate this so much. The oversleeping gag is so stupid and so pathetic.
Yeah.
9 people in a house. When they finally wake up, there's beaming sunlight into their bedroom.
Yeah.
That's not how people sleep. It doesn't make any sense. You're going on a flight the next day with all these kids. You're up every hour looking at the clock.
Right.
And it's like
You're terrified.
one alarm clock got unplugged. There's 9 other people in the house. That drives me crazy too before they even get to the airport.
Yeah, the uncle would have been up at like 5 a.m. having
Uncle
coffee.
Frank
Yeah.
would be having like an Irish coffee, probably and be like, let's go. So the beaming sunlight, they just sleep right through it. As adults, doesn't happen.
With all of that said,
Yes, and there's more.
you just have to shove all that over
All
the
of
side.
it.
I asked you for a list of most unrealistic, I can't believe this happened again movies. I only had 3,
Okay, what do you
other
got?
than Home Alone 2. But how many do you have?
I had about 4. I had 4.
All right, so we probably
see if we have
both
some of
had
the same.
Die Hard 2.
Have to have Die Hard too. He
It's
even
like,
has the
can't
line.
believe he's in another terrorist situation.
Yeah, and he winks at the camera. McClane's like, "How's the same shit happen to the same guy twice?" Like, he's saying to the camera, "We get it." So I think that's the clubhouse leader. What else you got?
Speed 2, Cruise Control.
Great. I don't have it. Great. On a cruise ship. Sandra Bullock again.
Sandra Bullock, who in Speed 1,
Yeah.
just on a bus, one of the most brutal terrorist attacks of the mid-90s in LA, and somehow survives and meets Keanu Reeves, and it seems like they're going to be together. And now this happens again with a different guy on a yacht.
She's on a bus with a bomb on it. And then she's on a yacht with a terrorist.
Yeah.
And it's Willem Dafoe now, but Jason Patrick's there because Keanu didn't want to do it. That's a great one. That might be even better.
What did you have? Because I have one more good one.
There's a scene in Jaws 2 where Brody is like talking to the town and he's like, I'm telling you, don't have this boat race. And they're like, oh, Brody, you're paranoid. That's not going to happen. It's like, dun, 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 dun. And then the Jaws just shows up. I have that.
I always loved that. This is one of my favorite
Yes.
recurring themes in Rewatchables. The guy who is the hero. He saved everybody.
but-
Nobody believed him the first time. And then the situation happens again. And people are like, get the fuck out of here, Brody.
Sun
What do you
shines in the
know?
dog's ass, Brody. We get it. I wonder. All right, so this one's good. The Taken franchise.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
the
a
daughter
good
gets
one.
taken.
Yeah.
And then second one, the wife gets taken.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the third, but I think like his dog or his bike, and then eventually like his Wi-Fi password gets taken. Like, things just keep getting taken from him. That's a terrible one too. What else you got?
I have the best one. Weekend at Bernie's 2.
Let's go.
Here's
With the voodoo curse. I love this movie. Great
Weekend
one.
at Bernie's 2 was already pushing it
No.
just for how long the guy was dead with
Yes.
like just how people decompose. He'd been dead for a couple days.
Long- no rigor
It's
mortis.
going to be a little gamey.
No.
So this is just from Wikipedia. Weekend at Bernie's 2 tells the story of Larry and Richard once again ending up with their late boss's corpse, which is targeted by a voodoo queen hired by mobsters who want to find the $2 million that Bernie embezzled. That was the plot. This movie was reviled. Like, it was so hated that I actually think it's a Rewatchables candidate for 2025.
Weekend at Bernie's 2.
Weekend at Bernie's 2, just skip one.
Have you guys done Bernie's?
Rent it 2, no.
That would be an unprecedented move to go
Just
right
go
to
rent
the
it 2.
sequel. Unbelievable.
It's like 4 years later, too, where it wasn't like they were capitalizing on the success.
No.
It's just a pure money grab.
Does it have Silverman and Anne McCarthy in it
Yeah.
too?
It sure
They
does.
both showed
He should
up,
have made
the
a
single
documentary
guy.
about that, how desperate he was to make a sequel.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have one other one.
Let's hear it.
I'll pull from the headlines. The Kansas City Chiefs. It happened again. It happens every single time. They're down late. They're going to lose. Oh my God, this is finally the week they lose. No, the other team makes a stupid mistake and they win on a last-second field goal. It happened again, the Chiefs, 2024.
That's a great one.
That's
We're
it.
recording this the day after they won on a 31-yard field goal that hit the upright and went through, which I feel like when it hits the upright, 1 in 5 chance at that
Yes.
point. Usually bounces back,
Yes.
sideways. No. not
Third
with the
string
Chiefs.
kicker, too.
I had one more parents question before we get to Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, sure.
I can save it, actually. I'll
Where's
put it in a
Culkin?
different
What's
spot.
age the best or worst?
Well-
where are we going?
Culkin, 92.
Yeah.
Biggest child star of the 90s. I'm going to give him that.
Massive
I'm not
star.
saying he's the biggest child star ever,
Mm-hmm.
but I think for the decade, he's the guy.
And Home Alone 1 was 90. Like he just got in there. Yeah, so definitely massive. I mean, I feel like Macaulay Culkin, it sounds ridiculous. He was an icon. He really, really mattered. It was a big deal.
Yeah, because I saw what he made for the movie. He for the sequel, he made $4.5 million.
It's a lot.
Plus 5% of the gross.
That's massive.
And I'm like, that's like one of those late 2010s Brady's contracts.
Yeah.
Where it's like, how come you just don't have half of the salary cap in the Patriots? You're the entire team. Culkin, like, you could have told me he got $100 million for the movie. I'd be like, probably still got shortchanged. Because who's going to see Home Alone 2 if he's not in it? We found out with Home Alone 3 and beyond when he wasn't in it.
Total leverage. I don't know if the information's out there. Like, I wonder what Pesci made on the movie, because Pesci was huge at the time. And I wonder if he made more, because you can make the movie without Pesci, but you can't make it without Mac.
He's the only one you have to have.
Yeah.
Some weird research stuff with this. Like, I think it was becoming sad with Culkin.
Okay.
He was so big. By age 8, Home Alone is one of the biggest kids movies of all time, if not maybe the biggest non-animated kids movie we had.
An unbelievable box office phenomenon. #1 for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Hosting SNL.
Yes,
it's like, what's next for him?
The Michael Jackson piece was huge. He's in Michael Jackson's videos. He's having sleepovers. Literally, like, Michael Jackson's the biggest star in the world. He's hanging out with his kid. Culkin was massive.
He does My Girl, and he dies at the end. Spoiler alert. And it's like, you guys killed Macaulay Culkin in a movie. How do you do that? After Home Alone 2, he does The Good Son, which is one of the 5 best movies of the 1990s. Pulp Fiction 1, Good Son 2, Shawshank 3.
Goodfellas. I took in some Good Son this week. I've had some time. I'm here in LA without my family. I cannot believe the end of that movie. I'd seen it, but years. I can't believe what happens.
I can't
believe that cliff scene is crazy.
It's crazy.
That woman, she drops him.
It's been on the Rewatchables list for 4 years.
Good Son?
Oh, yeah. But what's funny about The Good Son, where he plays, like, basically Damien Omen. He's like an evil kid. Like,
killer.
There's something wrong with him.
Yeah.
I'm not positive he's any different in Home Alone 2.
Go on.
It's the same performance. He's just he's not actually trying to kill somebody, although you could argue if you're just dropping bricks on somebody's head from 3 stories and creating this deviant, psycho booby trap pit of hell for these 2 bumbling guys. Maybe that was as bad. I don't know.
Well, the joke is, he's Jigsaw, and he's completely fucked up psychologically and likes torturing and hunting those men.
Yeah.
That's another reason, like, why they couldn't do another one with Marv and Harry and Macaulay. Like, what would the torture have been in the 3rd movie? There was no place to go. It was already the sadistic, sick destruction. Like, he can't. Hey guys, I'm gonna cut your dicks off. Are you ready? Like, there was nowhere to go with the abuse that they were taking.
No, it really would have been just Saw 1.
Yeah.
He's just the guy putting them in a cellar together where they have to saw something off to
Want to play a game, guys? I'm on my tricycle. Here's barbed wire. Like that. I don't want to see that.
Was Home Alone 2 worse than Saw, or was it about the same? Would you have them together?
Carrie always saws his leg off at the end, so it was pretty tough. But Stern on that electrical faucet thing until he's a skeleton was rough too. They really pushed it.
They really did.
But I like it still. I don't care if you don't. Somebody
Stern wrote a book. Do you know this? Called Home and Away?
I don't know that Daniel Stern
Home and Alone, something like that. He wrote an autobiography like 2 years ago, and he had some Culkin stuff in it.
Is that true?
He was a sweet kid, but had lived a very different life than my kids. He didn't know how to play tag or throw the ball around.
Tag's a very easy game to learn.
Yeah.
You just touch the person and they're it.
The fact that he put that in the book made me think, like, was this kid just in a trailer from age 4?
Yes.
Never playing with anyone other than Michael Jackson. Then he wrote, we realized he had formed a friendship with Michael Jackson because when we picked him up, his hotel room was stacked, literally from wall to wall and ceiling to floor with toys. Every conceivable toy, as if someone went through Toys R Us, took one of each and dropped them in his room, all a gift from Michael Jackson. It made us all feel really bad for Mac.
Yeah.
My kids had experienced a taste of the distortions fame can bring, but seeing what Mac's life was like put things in a different perspective.
I'm cringing as you read that.
It's pretty tough.
It makes me uncomfortable.
This was before we were kind of self-aware about a child actor star, like putting in checks and balances.
Yeah.
Because you could see this going sideways. The weird thing is he dates Mila Kunis in his late teens, and they dated for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And it seems like there could have been a good actor, like adulthood thing for him, but instead his brother took it.
Yeah.
Kieran, who's in this movie.
Yeah, and you would think in the on-set stuff, it's like, your little brother's there. That's your buddy. You're not buddy with Jacko. Like, you're buddies with Kieran. You're going to go do your homework together and play with toys. Look, Macaulay has spent, like, the last 15 years swearing to anyone who'll listen that nothing weird happened with Michael Jackson. He says it over and over again. He's like, yeah, we had sleepovers and stuff, but nothing happened. And he said it in a million platforms. So, I don't know. Maybe nothing did, but... I mean, aren't Pesci and Stern, when Michael Jackson has shown up to visit the kid and giving him toys and stuff? Isn't Chris Columbus, what the fuck is Michael Jackson doing here? It's weird. I'm triggered by it completely, but maybe it's because it's 30 years later.
Yeah, we're both parents. The concept of an adult coming over to hang out with your 9-year-old son would just raise my flag right away.
It's unbelievable.
My son's 9. I barely want to hang out with him.
No, we want to play. We want to play tag. Let's have a water balloon
fight. Have a sleepover. Like what? You're gonna
I'm
have a
9 too. No, you're not, Michael.
Yeah, you're definitely not. You're
I
a grown
think
man.
Macaulay is also the godparents of Michael's kids. Like I read that. So there's all sorts of connective stuff there. But Macaulay's married with kids right now. Like I think he's doing all right.
I think it's turned out
I think he's doing
better
okay.
for him because when, I'm slightly older than you, but my generation watching these TV child actors,
The
like
worst.
it was always going bad. And I think now that
Yeah.
we're in the 21st century with like the young Sheldon type guys, it feels like it's a little better. There's more awareness of
Definitely
playing it safer with some of these
Well,
people.
look at Chris Columbus. Okay, so he says I would have done some things different with Macaulay. Next decade later, he starts directing the Harry Potter movies. So he's got these 3 little kids that he's basically going to raise. And he talked really effusively about I did things different. I learned some lessons. And like, I think it has changed a lot because, when I was a little kid, it was like the Different Strokes cast and it was just like a disaster from start to finish. But I think, listen, just recently, Macaulay went viral for posting like a Joe Burrow picture because people say Joe Burrow looks like him. And it's like, that was showing like humor and like, it was good to see him. I think he's doing okay considering what he's gone through.
I can't imagine being that famous when you're like 8 years old.
No.
How do you even process that when your brain can't process anything and you have no idea who you are at that point? Pretty strange.
Very strange.
There was this SNL sketch I remember in the early 90s when Susan Day hosted.
Sure.
I think it was Susan Day, where it was all the child actor criminals and they were all getting together to plan some heist, and there was an undercover cop, and it was
like the sketch.
Bonaducci and all that. But that was the mentality in the early 90s when Home Alone was happening. And I think everybody who saw these movies doing well was like, oh man, this guy in 10 years is going to be a disaster. You just were so used to it going badly. It seems like it's gone okay for him.
The contrast, too, is that his co-star in The Good Son, Elijah Wood, is looked at as like the gold standard of a child star who grew up and it seems to completely have his act together. Has been very successful. So I think Macaulay got crapped on a lot because there was some dicey stuff, and he's talked about abuse and all that with his parents, and it's just not good. But I think he's doing all right. I'm happy for the guy. Like we all grew up Macaulay in one way or another. Like if something bad were to happen to him, I'd be crestfallen. I think he's doing all right.
I think I got off the train with Getting Even with Dad with Ted Danson.
I never
was
saw
like,
the movie. I'm aware of it.
Done.
Is it just bad? Richie Rich for me.
Great supporting cast in this movie that includes Joe Pesci, who is having a fucking heater in 1992. He's dropping My Cousin Vinny, Home Alone 2, and Lethal Weapon 2 all in 1 year.
That's a year.
And that's like action, kids, comedy. That's about as good as, and coming off Goodfellas, that's almost like, I can't even think of anybody who had 4 different types of movies like that in a 2-year span.
No, I mean, everybody looks at Carrie's 94. He did Dumb and Dumber, he did The Mask, and he did, I don't know what the other one was, but he's like 3 bangers in 94. But the Pesci diversity, where he's in basically a kid's movie, and then he's Tommy, like stabbing Billy Blanks to death. You know what I mean? Like he did it all. He was the top 5 movie star in the world at the time when he made this movie, and he's running around chasing after Kevin. It's nuts.
It's also funny to watch this thinking of him as Tommy in Goodfellas as he's reacting to some of the situations.
Bing, bang, pow!
And then Daniel Stern, who was in both City Slickers and the 2 Home Alone movies and is like kind of shockingly good in this movie. It's
fantastic.
Really over the top funny, like not overacting, just really good.
The recasting for that part is he has Michael Richards' energy, like the physical comedy and the electrocution.
Good call.
He's basically Kramer.
Yeah.
And he's really, really good. Before Kramer was massive, he's great in that part.
Tim Curry, you mentioned.
Excellent.
John Hurd, Catherine O'Hara, and then Rob Schneider. It's the bellhop.
As
Pretty
Cedric.
solid cast.
Yes. Do you think Rob Schneider wanted to work at the Plaza just because he heard Donald Trump owned it, and he just wanted to be close to him?
He didn't know that yet.
He knew this is going to pay off for me down the
30
road.
years
I think
later
he might have.
happen.
But he's really good in this movie.
Strong cast. And also one of the big things with this movie, one of the biggest and best New York City movies. There's been a million movies filmed in New York City. I don't know if there's a lot of movies that use all of the city the way this one does. It plays all the hits. We're in all the different parts. You even get to see the original World Trade Center a couple times, and you get to see the Plaza, which I think is probably one of the most iconic New York hotels, Central Park. We move around the city during the holiday season in a way that I don't know how many movies have done it.
No, he's uptown in the brownstone too for the final acts.
Right.
Times Square, all that stuff. It's a great, great Manhattan movie, and it makes you want to go there on Christmas and stand in front of the Christmas tree.
Totally.
And they know what they're doing there. Like, that stuff is contagious. I love this as a New York movie.
Early 2009, my daughter was like between 3.5 and 4. We went to New York City for the weekend because she loved the Home Alone movies. And we stayed at the Plaza Hotel. And we went to the toy store, and it just felt like this is something we should do, right? This is, now the movie's coming to life. But the Plaza, which was always like a pretty famous New York kind of destination place.
Sure.
But I think this movie really hammered it home in a different way. Like, to me, it's the Home Alone 2 hotel now.
Yeah, and listen, we do the Benihana Award like it's the Plaza, like the scene-stealing location.
Yeah.
And they really shot it there. That, not only the lobby, that actual suite is shot, and that's not a set. That's really in the Plaza. There's one spoiler, because my wife and I stayed there once too, and we were talking about, we'd seen Home Alone 2 a bunch of times, and we're like, hey, where's the pool? And they're like, oh, there's no pool here. That wasn't in the Plaza. That's in Chicago. So the Plaza does not have a pool. That's the one thing they bullshit. But we were ready for the pool. No pool.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Directed by Chris Columbus, written by John Hughes.
Yep.
Still on an all-time heater.
Yep.
$28 million budget, made $359 million. The third highest grossing film released in 1992, behind 2 movies. Can you name them?
I think I know one.
Okay.
I think one of them was Aladdin.
Yes.
With Robin Williams. And I don't know what the other one was, but I think it came out like maybe the same weekend or right next to it. What is it?
The Bodyguard.
Oh, massive. Massive banger.
Costner and Whitney.
Massive. They beat Kevin McAllister. Man, Costner.
Costner, Whitney, Kevin McAllister, and Aladdin. That was our big 4 for
Squad.
1992. Roger Ebert, 2 stars.
Unoriginal.
I get it.
Unoriginal. It's fine. I respect it.
I think he got upset about the violence.
People did.
Cartoon violence is only funny in cartoons. Most of the live action attempts to duplicate animation have failed because when flesh and blood figures hit the pavement, we can almost hear the bones crunch, and it isn't funny. Hard disagree, Raj.
You ever seen somebody get stapled in the nuts, Raj? It's hilarious. That doesn't have to be a cartoon. It's funny.
Which totally violent, excessive part wasn't funny, Raj?
I like them all.
Let's go one by one. All right.
You got the CompuBox?
I do have it later.
Let's go.
Today's most rewatchable scene brought to you by Paramount Plus. This holiday season, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to watch every Mission Impossible on Paramount Plus. I was actually watching some Mission Impossible this weekend.
Yeah.
Cruise just looks so young.
I know.
He looks like almost like Top Gun Cruise. Like, you
Mission
forget how
Impossible
long.
Yeah.
This is like a 3-decade franchise now. Catch up on the greatest action franchise of all time, starring the one, the only Tom Cruise, now streaming on Paramount Plus. Most rewatchable scene.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to start with the family losing Kevin, the whole thing where he gets separated and then they lose him in the airport and they realize he's not there, culminating in the Kevin!
Kevin's not here.
Kevin's not here.
Kevin's not here. Kevin's not here.
Kevin's not here. Kevin's not here.
What?
Is there anything you would have before that?
No, I mean, unless we did the final act, the Saw movie, like are you talking chronologically?
I'm just saying before that scene.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, that's where it gets cooking, because I actually really, really hate the scene at the children's concert where Buzz like bullies him. It makes no sense. All the parents start laughing at the little kid. And
I had that in What Stage the Worst. Nobody would ever laugh at kids at a concert, ever.
Why did they think that scene made sense?
I don't know.
What he's doing to him isn't even funny.
It's an easy cut.
That scene. Terrible.
Yeah.
But no, that's the first one.
Kevin's first few minutes in New York City, when he buys fireworks in Chinatown.
Awesome.
This is like, you're just preaching to the choir for the age range of 4 to 10. It's probably when I wrote down, it's the little kid equivalent of going to a strip joint.
It's true.
Just being like, yeah, I'm going to go buy some fireworks. And then I'm going to set them off.
It's the last vestige before it gets sexualized.
Right.
Because after a little older, you're going to buy a Playboy.
Yeah.
And then like a penthouse, and then a hustler, and then you're just going to a strip joint.
Yeah.
So he buys fireworks.
Fireworks.
That's great.
I'm going to set them off and they're going to make noise.
Fucking awesome.
Kevin gets a free limo and pizza and Coke for an NYC limo ride.
Limo's got a TV bill. I mean, that blows your mind in that back then.
There's a lot of jealousy if you're a kid And of course, I saw this as an adult, so I don't even know why I would totally know this. But you're just living vicariously through all these things. I'd be like, that'd be amazing if you're 9 years old.
It was like when we used to watch Silver Spoons, or if you watch Richie Rich, like, this guy has awesome stuff. It was the same deal. Pizza, limo, like Kevin was just killing it. Like, picture me rolling. Like, he was a total badass.
Silver Spoons.
Yeah.
I had Bateman on the podcast once, was really talking about it because he was Schroeder's buddy in that show.
Yeah.
And I think he thought I was being like semi-ironic and I was like, no, I genuinely love Silver Spoons. I think he was surprised.
I know you're definitely sincere.
And then he was in what was it called? That It's Your Move? Bateman for 1 year.
Oh, that's a show? I know he was in the Valley, the Hogan family.
Spun him off from Silver Spoons into It's Your Move.
Same character?
It was basically young Bateman.
Mm-hmm.
He's the son of a divorced, like it's a mom. It's just him and his mom, single mom.
Great.
And there's some neighbor that likes her. And the whole show is just him trying to foil the neighbor. It was a terrible idea for a sitcom. I loved it. I watched every episode.
The neighbor has to be Ted McGinley, right? I don't know who.
I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody like that.
What was it called again?
It's Your Move?
Did you talk to Bateman about It's Your Move?
He was just stunned that I remembered it and loved it. But I really did. I always liked him as a kid actor. And then it eventually led to the Hogan family, which I did not watch.
Because I've heard that Bateman is not real interested in talking about Teen Wolf 2. Like, it's not his favorite topic. No. But I mean, it's not a good movie. Who cares?
It's not. Maybe as he gets older.
I would think so.
Yeah. I don't know if there's been a lot of Smartless episodes about it. Next episode, or next scene, Kevin gets chased by the wet bandits, pulls the pearls on the sidewalk trick.
By the Sticky Bandits.
Oh, they're now the Sticky Bandits.
They
My bad.
Rebranded. The pearls. The old pearls on the sidewalk.
And then fends off everybody at the hotel with the videotape, which he's just the best at.
I'm terribly sorry, sir, but I'm afraid you're mistaken. We're looking for a young man.
All right. I believe you. But my Tommy gun don't. Get down on your knees and tell me you love me.
On your knees?
Like has any sports analyst worked the telestrator better than Kevin McAllister works the videotape?
Mike Fratello was great. He was the czar of the telestrator.
True.
Mike Fratello.
Just pause, perfect lines, able to fast forward over other dialogue.
So, the fact that there was always, listen, if you've never had a remote control on the VHS tape or whatever it was, there's always this weird lag. It's like trying to pump like $10 perfectly of gasoline. It's very hard to hit.
Never happening.
And he nails
Just crushing it. Also a hotel VCR.
No, come on.
There's no way.
No.
Next rewatchable scene I have wisdom from the pigeon lady, which I then wrote in parentheses, one of the worst scenes of the 1990s.
I wasn't always like this, you know.
Oh, what were you like before?
I had a job. I had a home. I had a family.
Did you have any kids?
No. Oh, I wanted them. But the man I loved fell out of love with me. That broke my heart. And whenever the chance to be loved came along again, I ran away from it.
This scene,
go on,
from a rewatchable movie standpoint, is mesmerizing. Where he's like a 10-year-old kid, he's lost. He doesn't know where his parents are. Here's crazy pigeon lady covered in pigeon shit. And she just has a heart-to-heart with him. And she's like, I had a man and he left me. My heart was broken. When your heart's broken, sometimes you land here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you're insane? Why are you talking to a little kid about this? I love it.
I have it written down, first ballot Hall of Fame pee break scene. Like, I would much rather watch Ron Burgundy play the flute than listen to the shit-covered old woman in Carnegie Hall says she got her heart broken. Like that, there's a lot of takes about that in what we have, like weak link of the movie, like all of that. I don't understand anything that's going on there. And listen,
is she teaching him about the holiday spirit deep down? Is that what they're going for? I'm trying to understand like what they're going for with Pigeon Lady.
This is what they're going for. Hughes always has to have heart. You can't just have fun all the time. Yeah. Like in the Breakfast Club, we're going to get high and cry about our parents. It's not just all fun. My problem with it, though, is this movie already has that component with the old man at the toy store and him saving the kid's money that's going to the hospital. He waves at the sick kid. There's already a lot of heart.
Yeah, we already have Roy Wally.
Right. We got Roy Wally. We have the wistful scenes with his mom. I don't know what the bird lady is doing here. And yes, she resolves the sticky bandits at the end. They could have come up with something else for that. That scene is unbelievably boring and so long. She's still talking about her love and her heart get broken. Like, I have a million questions about that scene. What? Carnegie Hall does not let vagrants just go up in an attic and chill. What is that?
She has a studio apartment at Carnegie Hall.
And we got harps and pianos.
Just
and
lean over, watch the concert, Kevin.
I get to see the finest music ever. Are you paying them? Like, it is the most renowned concert venue in the United States. And this homeless woman, literally covered in shit, gets to come and go how she wants and bring kids.
Yeah.
What's she doing up there with that kid? It makes me so angry, that scene. It's terrible from start to finish. Terrible.
It would be like if it was a sports movie and she's just like climbing in a Lambo.
Yeah.
With somebody like, hey, it's Sunday Night Football tonight.
They let me stay up by the head. The lights
playing.
Yes,
yeah,
we can
come
see
on
Favre.
in.
Come on with me,
I'm
buddy.
in the owner's suite, covered in shit.
And they're just, that's fine. That's just the bird. It makes no sense at all.
Well,
Terrible scene.
I have it as rewatchable because it's so bad. I watch it trying to figure out what's actually happening and why they thought this was a good idea and why they didn't edit it. Next one. Kevin sets up all his traps.
Mm-hmm.
The setting up montage scene where he's basically like, this is going to be America. He's Patrick Bateman in 15 years. He's going to absolutely kill people, carve them up in a bathtub.
Yeah. And bathe in their blood.
Yeah, and put them away.
It has the great energy because it's like the suit up scenes that we like, and something like Commando, where
Yeah.
Arnold's just strapping on weapons, and I got rocket launchers and guns and grenades, and like Kevin's just getting ready to kick the shit out of these two idiots.
He's got nail guns.
Yeah, Roger Ebert doesn't like that. It's awesome.
Kevin annihilates the two crooks for 15 solid minutes, which includes he drops 4 bricks on them from a 3-story height.
Yeah.
Nail gun through the door multiple times, including right in Daniel Stern's face. Almost takes out his eye.
Mm-hmm.
Slippery goo in the ladder, so Pesci falls 20 feet. Bag of plumber tools falls on Pesci's head. Slippery goo on the floor, so Stern falls backwards. Electrocutes the sink, which I think is just a murder.
Yeah,
I don't think Stern survives that under any circumstance. Like,
No.
he's dead.
Dead. Corpse.
Sets Pesci's head on fire, and then he goes to put it out in the toilet, and the toilet explodes.
Mm-hmm.
Another murder. I think they're both dead at that point.
I think that toilet is like filled with kerosene or something, and
Yeah.
his face is in it. So
Yeah.
he'd be at least like wildly disfigured.
He's at least like a paraplegic.
Yes. See, now we're doing the thing that my wife does. He'd be dead. But this is what you do with
They're
this
both
movie.
dead at this
Fine,
point.
Go ahead.
He hits Marv with a 100-pound bag of sand
Yep.
from distance. Hits both of them with that giant metal, I don't know, is a metal stick, whatever that thing is.
I think that big like lead pipe thing that comes
Yeah.
down. Yes, that one's
It's coming down.
devastating.
Yeah, that one you're not waking up from. Hits them with the giant tool chest that presses them against
Breaks
the
their
wall.
noses.
Kerosene rope trick that
Yep.
he sets on fire. And they fall, 40 feet, and then 25 to 30 paint cans laying on top of them.
Yep.
And then he taunts them with stuff like, nice night for a neck injury. He's basically Vontez Perfect.
It's true.
Just taking out wide receivers.
Antonio
left and
Brown
right.
over the middle, the crown of the helmet, a brutal moment. My question to you about that whole CompuBox you did, do you have a favorite? One of those that, like, when you're watching, you're
I
like,
do.
oh, fuck yes. Like, what's your favorite?
I do. I really like the kerosene rope trick. I just like how they set it up. It's like, what's that smell? The guys are so stupid.
Was that aftershave?
Yeah. And then it puts you in a what do you do mode.
Nothing.
You wearing aftershave? That's not aftershave, that's kerosene. The rope is soaked in it. Now, why would anybody soak a rope in kerosene?
Merry Christmas.
Go up!
You just drop.
Go
What else
up!
are you-
Go up! It starts saying go up, and they can't get up the rope.
What
That
was
is
your
great.
favorite?
I think it's that lead pipe thing that hits both of them.
Oh,
not
because
only does it
he
hit
fakes
them
them out with the
with the
swinging
paint
pants.
cans,
Yep.
and Harry and Marv think they're smart. It hits both of them, and then they fall down through the hole in the floor all the way to the basement, and then he cuts it, and it lands on him like Macho Man off the top rope, like a finisher move.
Yeah.
That's the one where I laugh out loud. That lead pipe thing, whatever it is.
Last one I had was the mom realizing she knows where Kevin is. And I wrote down, she's reprehensibly calm. No wonder he's a psycho.
Mm.
She goes to see him. No embrace. They're kind of like, oh, I knew I'd find you. Yeah, here I am. My wife would have been way more excited to see her son that she'd been separated from by multiple states and was passing flyers out.
Yeah. I have some thoughts on this later, and I think there's a reason that Kevin is not excited to see her. That's part
great.
of my
Oh,
house take.
great. I can't wait. So what's your most rewatchable scene?
It gave me the chaos. It gave me the chaos in the apartments, the destruction. That's why. That's how they marketed this movie too. They sold it like Kevin's going to beat him up some more. Come on, folks, and it worked.
Today's the most rewatchable scene brought to you by Paramount Plus. This holiday season, make it your mission to watch every Mission Impossible on Paramount Plus. Every dangerous secret, every heart-pounding chase, every impossible jaw-dropping stunt. Now streaming on Paramount Plus. Okay. What's the most 1992 thing about this movie?
Okay, you got some?
Clock radios.
Great.
Paper boarding passes that could, if you knocked a flight attendant over, it would cause mass chaos and you could get it on a plane. That's not happening anymore.
And Harry rips up Kevin's paper ticket, and Kevin's like, "Oh my god, how am I going to get on the flight? My ticket's ripped up."
Now
print a new one.
Now we have putting your iPhone to check in, and they're going, "You got to turn your light up higher." It's not now. You got to just push it while 7 people are pissed off.
I hate putting my phone on that thing because then I'm going to put it next to my face.
Yeah,
it's sick. You got to put it closer. I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to. Do you mind?
I don't
if
want to touch.
Most 1992 things about this movie, the original World Trade Center.
Yeah.
Which apparently they cut out of the movie for like 15 years on the rebroadcast,
and then brought it back.
Which I can't believe. And then by 2018, they were like, what are we doing? I was very surprised they did that.
It's sobering. It's the fact that he's up there and it's like this symbol of New York. And like,
yeah.
And the thing,
but I like it now because that was such a big part of the city. I don't like a racing history. 1992. That was one of the biggest landmarks the city had, and it should be in the movie.
I also have it for Great Shot Gordo coming up. They do this incredible, I guess it's a helicopter shot. I didn't have drones back then.
Right.
Of Kevin, and they pull back, like, wow, look how cool New York is.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
It's an awesome moment. It really is.
1992, a benevolent Trump cameo?
Yeah, that's a good call.
Rob Schneider as a hotel bellhop? Although maybe things would circle around where in 2024 he might be playing the hotel bellhop again.
Or he might be an actual hotel bellhop.
or that too.
Kev, the Kevmeister. Hey! That was him. Kicking ass, eating cookies, give her the fruit stripe. They made a whole career out of that.
I had that one too, tipping somebody with a fruit stripe. Do they still make fruit stripe?
I think they do. And
you think they do?
I haven't seen it. It's a giraffe logo. My take on fruit stripe, and I don't think they're a sponsor, fastest flavor losing gum on the market. You get 9 chews and it's gone.
I'm looking this up.
Is Fruit Stripe still with us? I hope. I grew up with it.
One of the searches is Fruit Stripe discontinued ?
Oh yeah,
so I don't think
people
it's gone
care
great.
about the brand. I think it's because of this movie.
Well, the winner for 1992 thing, unless you have any more you want to throw in.
I will submit one.
Okay.
When Kevin's rolling in the limo and he's eating the pizza, he is drinking a Coca-Cola Classic.
Oh,
with the classic
I didn't
stamp
notice
on
that.
it.
Oh man, I like Coca-Cola Classic.
It's great. So they changed the formula to compete with Pepsi, and then people are like, "What the fuck? This new formula sucks." Well, we'll give you Coca-Cola Classic, which is the old formula. To the young people, that must be nuts. But they used to have a can of Coke and it would say Classic on it. It just brought me back watching it.
Honestly, it would be like if we just completely changed the Rewatchables and had different categories, and it was just a completely different podcast. And people are like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, bring back Rewatchables Classic.
And then I was like, "All right, Rewatchables Classic is here now with the old categories."
Remember when the NBA changed the ball for like 5 minutes?
Right. Everybody got so mad.
What is this? And Shaq was so pissed. He's like, "This ball's terrible."
Yeah.
And then they went to Spalding Classic and they brought it back, and they haven't changed it since.
Well, the winner of this category is the Talk Boy.
Yeah, let's talk about the Talk Boy, Bill. This is perfect.
So it was designed as a prop for the film by Tiger Electronics with an eye on the 1992 holiday season. And boy, did it work, because it was the best-selling toy of 1992, the Talk Boy.
Banger.
It's basically a tape recorder?
Yeah, I think it's just like having like a reporter's tape recorder, but it has that little kind of protrusion on it, which I think maybe gets some distance or something. I know this. Here's another 1992 thing. They also decided to sell a pink and orange colored Talk Girl because they were selling it was the Talk Boy and the Talk Girl. It's a real thing. And that's how they used to do it back then. It was like, the girls' toys, the boys' toys. There was a Talk Girl. How about that?
Don't remember Talk Girl.
There was. I had sisters.
Well, they also had video games based on Home Alone 2 made by Sega Genesis, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Game Boy, and personal computers. That was a runner-up for most 1992 thing about the movie. That was kind of the big quartet along with computers.
It's a ton of video games. There's a guy out there called the Angry Video Game Nerd who plays old video games online, and he got Macaulay to show up and play Home Alone games with him like a couple of years ago.
Really?
And it's an
what was the Home
watch.
Alone game? I definitely did not play that one.
It was one of those games.
He's just in New York, like trying to drop stuff on people.
No, I remember mostly he was in the house from the first movie, And it's just awful. It looks nothing like the movie. It's just, they're not even trying to make a game. They're just putting Kevin McAllister's face and sell it. Like, I got suckered into buying so many of those bad video game movies. There's awful.
Yeah.
The Rambo video game was terrible. The Friday the 13th game is legendarily bad. E.T. is iconic. Like, they usually suck if they're, you know how they say they can't make video game movies? Like, it's hard to make? They can't make movie video games either. It goes both ways.
I can't think of any good ones.
I don't know. I mean, listen, we can go deep.
I'm just saying from 80s, 90s, I can't remember anyone based on a movie or a TV show that I was super excited to play. The best one that was based on something was the WWF game when you were a tag team. I don't know if you ever played that one.
I played all of those.
The tag team was like Big Boss Man, and you could team them up with Andre the Giant.
And
Those
Jake the
were
Snake and
amazing.
But your point, like, do you ever remember me like, oh, I love this Predator home video game or this Terminator home video game?
No.
Arcade games, sure, some of them, but they didn't really do it that much until they got to things like Aladdin and Lion King. But those are like Disney products.
The 48 Hours video game would have been great where Jack Cates was just saying inappropriate racial comments to Reggie Hammond.
So good.
And then Reggie Hammond would punch him. What's age the best? The Plaza Hotel.
Fantastic.
Huge, basically an advertisement for how cool the Plaza Hotel is. And I don't even know, I haven't stayed there since I went with my daughter. I have no idea where it stands in 2024.
We were probably 5 years ago. It's classy, super classy.
That's the thing. And it's like the kind of place you have tea on the first floor and there's like 5 7-year-old aunts having tea and somebody's putting a little nip in one of them. And,
yeah, definitely a little flask. Growing up in Chicago, I looked at the plaza as the symbol of wealth in New York City. I also looked at Trump.
Where's
as
it in
the symbol.
Chicago?
No, I mean, I would.
No, but where's the plaza in Chicago? Is it?
No, there isn't one. It's just like when I would look at New York, I'd be like, wow, the plaza is what New York wealth is all about from my Chicago
But I thought you
perspective.
said they had the pool and the.
So it's the pool. I think it's in like a Four Seasons or something. It's not a plaza
it's not even
hotel.
a plaza.
No.
So there's only one plaza in New York.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's the one. That's also makes it special.
Well, what's the one in Chicago that you have? The Old School Hotel?
There's a couple of them.
Now we're sidebarring.
Now we're deep into Chicago Hotel.
There's that one. It's like that old one near where MJ used to live. I'm blanking on it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is either. I think
every city has like
the Drake.
The Drake.
Yeah, the Drake Hotel.
The Drake is the plaza for Chicago.
They referenced the Drake Hotel in Mission Impossible 1.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that movie.
The Drake. What's age the best? FAO Schwartz's Duncan's toy chest.
Mm-hmm.
They just basically flipped it over. I have a bunch. Give me your best before.
Quick ones. I love that just everybody's back for the sequel. That ages well.
Yeah.
There's not
They only changed one sibling. One of them.
It's one of the ones you don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
But there's not a George McFly recast in Back to the Future 2 where like we couldn't get Crispin or we couldn't get Uncle Frank even. Like everyone's there. I like that in a sequel. It's the full set.
The dad's not different.
No, it's our same dad, same everybody, same, and that's just like same movie, dude. It works. I think that's a big part of it too.
Yeah.
What else you got?
The fear of losing your kid in an airport. It's funny to watch this when you're younger. I think even through your mid-20s before you have kids, you kind of still watch movies from the kid's perspective, even though you're grown up.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you become a parent, you watch it from the parent's perspective. And to hustle through an airport, being late for a flight with 8 family members, it would be like my idea of hell. I'd be so nervous. We're going to not have a bag. Somebody, like, you're just scrambling around. So I'm not defending the McAllisters because they lost Kevin twice in a 3-year span, but I'm just saying I understand it.
You're so afraid of it, you would never do it. You would never get there late. You would never be running because you'd
be there 4 hours
early.
Yeah.
When my kid is looking through snacks at the Hudson News in the airport and I can't see him for a second, I start to panic.
Right.
The protective instincts kick in. Like everyone's an asshole at the airport. Everyone's in a hurry. They don't care. You don't lose your kid in the airport. If you do, terrified.
Tim Curry, the perfect creepy hotel boss.
That blend of him from the Grinch shot into Tim Curry's smile. What's your relationship with Tim Curry? Like what's your favorite?
It always has made me uneasy. I've never liked him. Yeah.
That's his deal. So like I'm a big Clue guy. Like he's awesome in Clue. Legend with Tom Cruise, he plays the villain. Like I love all of that stuff. So and I think he is so good in this movie. And if Tim Curry doesn't work in this movie, he loses your interest.
Using the talk boy talking in slow motion to get a hotel room, just ingenious by Kevin. So leaving the phone call.
Oh, hi, this is Mr. McAllister.
Credit card, you got it. The lady's like, is this Mr. James Gum checking into the hotel? Do you have a room for a great big fat person? By the way, the lady who's taking that reservation is Chris Columbus's wife. Pretty cool. That lady worked for the hotel. Yeah, she's in the movie. Pretty cool.
How about Kieran Culkin as a little brother?
Let's do it. I mean, definitely. I think he's top of the list, age the
Just
best.
waiting for him to drop Roman lines.
Yeah. He used to be the guy who pissed the bed. Now he's sending dick pics to mature women across the Waystar Royco conference table. The best scene in that series by far. Sends it to his dad instead, mistakenly.
Yeah. It's so funny to see him as a little kid and think he's going to go on to play one of the most depraved characters in the history of HBO.
Yeah.
It's like Roman Reigns out of BC.
Fuller, easy on the Pepsi. Fuller, easy on the dick pics. I love Fuller.
2 more. No CGI for the pigeon attack. They actually use pigeons. Great
Pretty
stuff.
cool.
Now they would just like fake it. John Williams is the score. Great stuff. And
I mean, Williams, how about this? He just casually does this, and then he's just right on to Jurassic Park next project. Like,
yeah,
what a legend. What a
They're
wizard.
like, hey, John Williams, do you have anything?
Yeah, I got
For
some.
Home Alone, it's going to make about $400 million. It's
I'm
like,
good.
hold on, let me go in my garage.
Let me think something out.
Let me, I
Candles in the
have
window.
one. Christmas theme, right?
No
yeah,
problem.
Okay, got it.
I got you.
Kevin's room service bill. So this was what was on it: 2 chocolate cakes, 6 chocolate mousses with chocolate, vanilla and strawberry ice cream topped with M&Ms, chocolate sprinkles, cherries, nuts, marshmallows, caramel syrup, chocolate syrup, strawberry syrup, whipped cream, bananas, 6 custard flans, a pastry cart, 8 strawberry tarts, and 36 chocolate-covered strawberries. Again, he's American Psycho.
Yeah, that's a crazy.
For one
crazy
person,
order.
that's insane.
Yeah, you can't consume that much in a few days. A couple of years after that,
He becomes a diabetic.
He has to go right to the hospital. Give me 3 scoops. I'm not driving. Oh, you're driving to the hospital, Kevin. You definitely are.
Home Alone 3, Kevin's out of insulin. There's just no way you could eat that much as a 10-year-old when you're 4 feet and live to tell about it.
I think it's also like an FU to his parents. I think this is like, I'm going to run up the bill.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So he's being like, screw you, I'm going to be the highest bill possible because you guys ditched me again?
Yes.
Craig, what's the most you could spend on room service?
Nowadays, I
One
feel like you
person.
can, one person. I mean, dude, you get Uber Eats for one person. It's like $65. So it's easy now.
That was Craig's lunch. Chicken cacciatore and $65. That's true. Room service, under $100 for one person. A sandwich, like a salad, and like a glass of wine, forget about it. It's $100.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
And then it's like they do the thing where it's the service charges in there, but does that mean the person who brought this, it's not a tip for him?
Okay, so
it is a tip?
I think the
I
idea
always
is you're
tip.
not supposed to tip.
I
But
always
I'm
tip.
so worried about not
Yeah,
tipping
gotta
that I
tip.
also tip, but then I feel like a sap. I feel like I was just taken advantage of.
And they don't tell you.
Have you guys ever seen the bellhop do the Rob Schneider finger thing to you?
They're like, what do you
finger?
got? Like,
yeah,
you want
the
it's
rubbing
time
the
for a
fingers
tip?
together like it's time for pay.
Have you?
No.
Does that really happen, or is that only
I don't
in
think it
movies?
happens. Those people get out. They get out fast in hotels.
Well, they don't do the thing. They say 3 times, anything else I can do for
Right.
you? Anything else?
It's a
the room
movie
temperature
trope.
to your liking?
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
Movie trip.
Yes.
The Fortune 3 clap award for most gifable moment has to be her screaming Kevin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the mom.
Yeah. I think so.
Great shot Gordo award. You had it.
Trade
That drone shot was really cool. Whatever
Very
they did. Den of Thieves Benihana award scene stealing location. I could give you New York City. I could give you Duncan's toy chest. Or you just give you the Plaza.
The Plaza.
Yeah,
Did I take some of the magic out when I told you there's no pool at the Plaza? I feel like I ruined it for you a little
it was
bit.
fine.
It's like
I
there
would
was no
never-
basement in the
who-
Alamo.
Why? If I'm staying at the Plaza, why am I like? Hold on, I brought my trunks.
Yeah, you're
I'm
going to
there
the
to
park.
like use New York City. I'm right in the middle of everything.
It's right next to Central Park.
Yeah.
It'd be a little weird to swim. And the pool would probably be small. You're
No.
right. Okay.
Big Kahuna Burger Award, best use of food or drink has to be the room service order. What's age the worst? You mentioned this. A clock radio accident causing 10 people in the house to be late.
Come on.
Ridiculous. What else do you have? I have a bunch.
When the family goes down to Florida, they stay in this crappy motel. Hotels or motels that advertise adult movies on the sign. You don't see that anymore. Does that exist? Like a porn movie is basically what they're saying.
You know
when
what? The only
drive
thing
by.
that's left is HBO. You'll see that. Like there's some LA
HBO.
hotels where you'll see like free HBO
Okay.
is still on there. That's the only thing I've
Craig,
seen.
let me ask you: Do you know what the term SpectraVision is? Does that mean anything to you?
No.
Okay, so
Yeah.
SpectraVision, which they used to nickname SpanktraVision, was you could be in a hotel and you would order porn movies on the TV and you pay for them.
Spanktravision. I remember Skinamax.
Yeah, Spanktravision walks so Skinamax could run, or vice versa. But the phrase bill would always be, movie titles do not appear on the bill.
Right.
Because it'd be like horny sorority girls, $12.99. It would just say movie. They don't do that much anymore.
Well, so then you'd pay the movie and you'd have your room service bill.
Mm-hmm.
And the normal pay-per-views were like $9.99, but the Spectravision was like $24.99.
They were so expensive. Buy it.
So you're checking out, and they know it's like, oh, you got the $24.99.
And yeah, like I remember staying in a hotel with my dad. And he was asleep, and and he's like, "Did you order a movie last night?" I'm like, "No." So I think one of my friends did it. We're on vacation in a hotel. One of your friends, they just don't do porn in hotels like that anymore. So I got that. I should say age the worst.
Well, that was a big ball bust, like guys thing. If you were in somebody's hotel room, you'd order it when they're in the bathroom.
And you'd order ones that, let's just say, were unflattering types of porn that would reflect poorly on them.
And then the guy after would be like, "Why didn't you tell me? I would have watched it."
Yeah, fine. If I'm going to pay for it, I might as well watch it. So porn in hotels.
Yeah.
And then I just generally have Uncle Frank. I mean, much has been said about Uncle Frank. But like, where do you start? Like, Uncle Frank definitely hits children. Like to this day,
he's a menace.
Everything bad.
Uncle Frank is being taken out of the house in handcuffs because he has stuff on his computer.
Oh, really? Bill just took it to a 10. I'm like, he's kind of a jerk. Bill's like, he watches children's porn. Oh my God. But you know what? You might be right. Do you know the deleted scene? There's an infamous deleted scene with Uncle Frank.
What?
It's in the house before they leave. Home Alone 2, before they leave for the trip, and Kevin's bitching or something, and Uncle Frank sits him down. And I'm not making this up. You're going to think I'm joking. He pulls Kevin's pants down and laughs and walks away. So Kevin's left there in his underwear. And we're like, dude, I think that's assault. Like, you can't do that to a kid. Not your own kid. He pulls his pants down just to fuck with him and laughs and walk away. So Frank I think is crazier than Kevin.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
Well, he's also like totally nonplussed that he's showering and Kevin's like pulling a prank on him.
He does have an all-time line, though. It's secondhand line. When Kevin goes, Uncle Frank says if I walk in there and see him naked, I won't grow up feel like a real man. I'm like, awesome. What a great line.
That does sound
huge,
like
kid.
Something a family member would say.
Awesome.
Yeah.
My uncle said that to me. I think that'd be funny.
More would say it's the worst. The head of the hotel just waltzing into a room and watching someone shower in a bathroom. A little weird.
Scene.
Although it's Tim Curry, so you expect it.
Yeah. I got a fun one.
Well, go ahead.
All right. So can we talk about the Joe Pesci swearing in this movie?
Yeah.
So he's coming off Goodfellas, where every other word is F-bomb. And it's, why you little jumper. He does that nonstop. He does this swearing where he's not saying anything because it's a kid's movie.
Yeah.
So to watch Pesci, who is like the Michelangelo of movie swearing, have to go through these scenes where he's getting his nuts crushed and he's not allowed to swear, always seems it's so strange to me.
It almost seems like they've put him in TBS with dubbing or editing ahead of time.
Yes. But before he even does it.
You just want him to scream at Marv, how the fuck am I funny?
I know, right?
Why am I funny? How the fuck am I funny? Little kid that loves weird 1930s gangster movies.
Yeah, very strange. Why is he watching that movie?
Didn't know anyone at any point who's like, hey, Tommy's coming over, like to play with your son. He loves 1930s gangster movies. If you have any.
What? He should be watching
the
Rescue
original
Rangers.
Scarface.
Yes.
Pretty strange.
It is strange.
And then Michael Jackson visited Macaulay Culkin on the set. I'm just, without comment, going to say that's age the worst.
Perfectly normal, perfectly healthy.
Ruffalo Hannah Rubinek Partridge Overacting Award.
Yep.
They knew, and they let it happen.
Don't you call me lady! I come in here, I give these things to you.
Give me all you got! Give me all you got! I treated you like a son! You fucking stabbed me in the heart! Fuck you!
Who would you give it to?
There's a guy in this movie who has a very small part who makes me laugh every single Christmas when I watch it. And when Kevin's trying to run on the plane and the boarding passes get knocked down and the lady's picking him up, the supervisor comes over and this guy just goes, boredom, but make sure he finds his family. And that guy puts every ounce of his being in that line. Like, that's his 8 Mile moment. He is so excited about that line. So boredom guy.
That VHS is getting sent out to 100 agents.
This is on my reel. I'm at Home Alone too. I'm with Macaulay. I share a scene together. I'm going to be a fucking movie star because of the words boredom. And he is so over the top and so stupid. I got boredom guy, which is 2 words.
I like it.
Overacting.
It's better than any of my candidates.
What do you got?
What was your reel? What was like the number one thing on your reel?
Well, my acting reel or my sports media reel?
Acting reel.
It's just Days of Our Lives scenes.
Like making yourself cry in a hospital because you had cancer.
I lost my leg. My character lost a leg on a landmine. Yes, I'm not making it up.
Your character lost a leg at a landmine?
Character was a soldier. Was at war. I became the first amputee character in daytime TV history. That's
Days of Our Lives?
Days of Our Lives, yeah. 3.5 years. And
wait, for 3.5 years you didn't have a leg?
No, for like 2 years I didn't have a leg. You know what's
So you
fucking
had
crazy?
to like pretend you didn't have a leg for multiple scenes?
I had a prosthesis and I would like limp. And then the craziest thing is Paul McCartney's wife at the time was a real life amputee from landmines. And I came in and I did a scene with Heather Mills McCartney on Days of Our Lives where we were like crying about how we don't have a leg. That really happened in my life. That was the thing.
Was that your number one real thing?
Probably was, yeah. Probably was, yes.
Was there a better title for this movie? I would have gone with Home Alone 2. How terrible were these parents? ?
Yeah, that would be. I don't know if it would have been better.
Home Alone
box
2,
office.
more child negligence.
Home Alone 2, Protective Services. That's Home Alone 3. You can't lose them 3 times.
Can you dig it? A word for most memorable quote. It's just Kevin again. Kevin.
I also do like, suck brick, kid. I say that sometimes when we play basketball and volleyball. It's fun.
Let's take a break and then we'll do the hottest take. All right. The CR thinks Luke Wilson could have been Harrison Ford hottest take award. What do you got?
All right. So I actually have 2. The first one, I think we learn in this second movie, and I think Kevin learns. Kevin wants to be alone. I think Kevin is wanting to be apart from his family. And by the time the movie is over, I think he's actually pissed off when she finds him at Rockefeller Center. I think he orchestrates it at the airport. I think that thing with the batteries is all bullshit that he set up ahead of time. At no point in this movie does he try to find his parents. Does he talk to anybody about his parents? First movie, he goes to Santa Claus and says, can you please bring my family back? This movie, he doesn't do any of that. And he's like,
he's pumped.
Yeah. This is a high IQ, independent child who doesn't belong in a conventional family structure. He's got a sick ass apartment, eats whatever he wants. He's got friends he hangs out with. He's got a fucking pool. And I think when she shows up at the end, she's like, Kevin, he's fuck. It's like when your parents come home and you had a babysitter, like the party's over. I think he doesn't want to be with his family. And his family sucks as well. And they set that up in the first act of the movie. I think he wants to be alone and is totally bummed out when he's not.
I don't think you're wrong. I think the internet comes about 5 years later, and Kevin doesn't have another relationship with another human being.
No, it's just
he's
in front
just
of his laptop
He's
the whole
early
time.
message boards. Probably at that point, he's 14.
Yes, epic.
When like the first wave, he definitely has AOL in like 95. Yeah, he's probably goes to college for computer programming.
Also kind of a freak. Like he likes torturing people. I think he's into cyber sex and all that type
Yeah, he
of
probably
stuff.
gets into some dark places of the dark web by the time he's 19, 20. Yeah, I like that one.
My second take, this is this simple. I think Harry and Marv are lovers.
Really?
I do. They've been in prison together multiple times.
Yeah.
I don't
They
really
call
know
each other
why
the
they're
wet
together.
bandits and then the sticky bandits.
Wet and stickies?
Yeah, it's
You
a
know what
little
I mean?
weird.
They talk about when this is over, we're going to go abroad together. The first time we see Harry, he's in a policeman's uniform, which I think he owns and like uses in his personal life. And I don't know why else Harry is with Marv. Marv's bringing nothing to the table. It's not like he's the computer hacker or like the muscle. I think that they're in a relationship. And the only fly in the ointment is that in this movie that Marv like gets kind of horny about the blonde lady on the sidewalk. But I think he's like fresh out of prison and just looking to like screw anything. And I think Harry doesn't like it when he flirts with the blonde woman. So I think Harry and Marv are like are lovers and like they're head over heels for each other. That's what we do. They're going to Mexico together after this.
That's a great hottest
Thank
take.
you. What do you got?
That's right. I mean, you really went for it because I was like ashamed of mine because it's probably too over the top. But now I feel great.
Let's go. Come on, Bill.
I think this is a movie about a little kid fighting off the dangers of child trafficking.
Do this. Let's go.
From the get-go, this kid is just in peril and in danger, and everybody is coming after him at all times, and everybody is some sort of avatar for be careful if you're a little kid. Heading to when the pigeon lady saves Kevin, it's in the exact same spot as the climactic scene in Cruising with Al Pacino.
I know either Cruising or Nell was going to come up. Which one first? It's the same spot?
It seems like the same
It does
spot.
look very similar.
I was looking at it. It was like there was the bench.
Yeah.
There was like the little hill. There was a
probably the
little
same
bridge.
spot.
I was like, what are they trying to tell us? That's all I got.
And Kevin
That's why
has a
we
cry
call it
for
the
help.
hottest take.
That's right. We listen to the episodes sometimes. Sometimes it's just an interesting take. It's a fun
Yeah.
take. It's supposed to be a ridiculous take that you don't really
Supposed to be-
believe.
Yeah, I don't. Hottest take. It's like
Trafficking,
I
gay
can
lovers.
talk myself into believing this. But
That's
yeah,
how you do it. Good job, Bill.
casting what ifs. Great job by you. So only a couple. Chris Columbus wanted Gene Wilder to play the role of Mr. Duncan, the toy store guy.
Beneath
And
him.
He turned it down.
Too small of a part.
So they got Roy Wally.
Damn right they got Roy Wally.
And then there's a legitimate Ali Sheedy cameo for keeping our Brat Pack roots.
Yeah. So this is a cameo, right? Like, that's,
Yeah.
It's she's winking at the camera. It's not like just a small part that Ali Sheedy took.
No, because she's still pretty big, and this is
I thought
1992.
so.
Yeah, she's
but
a
is
real
she big
actress.
enough to be like, holy shit, they got Ali Sheedy? It's like The Rock showing up or something.
Nah,
Like,
yeah, no.
it's an odd part. Like she,
But
just,
I think
she's
it's
friends
a
with
John
Hughes.
Hughes. Yeah, she was in a couple John Hughes movies.
Yeah, it's good to see her. I think she's wearing a wig too. That blonde hair. I don't know if that's hers.
Best that guy award is clearly Eddie Bracken, who plays Mr. Duncan, who was also Roy Wally in Wally World and was in pretty much every Hughes movie in some way.
He was also in the movie Rookie of the Year. He owns the Cubs. That movie directed by Marv. So there's some synergy there. Yeah, and he's in it as well.
Do you know his name was Eddie Bracken?
No.
Yeah.
But that's I gather he was like massive, like in the 50s, 60s, 40s, like that. I've not seen those films. I'm not Kevin McAllister. I don't watch old black and white movies.
Deion Waiters Award. Pigeon Lady's in it too much. Schneider is a candidate. Buzz.
Okay.
Roy Wally. I don't know.
Curry probably in it too much. How about my guy? How about Johnny in the movie? In the old movie, the black and white movie. Ralph Foodie is his name.
Oh, that guy. That's good. I like that.
F-O-O-D-Y. You've been smooching with everybody. Like, that guy's kind of an iconic
He's
part
an
of Home Alone.
amazing. Yeah, he's like James Cagney. You're right.
You know how we said you got to have Macaulay and then Pesci? I think you got to have that guy, too.
Right.
That's
You
a big
can't have
part of
another-
Home Alone.
It's a great call.
Ralph Foodie. F-O-O-D-Y.
Recasting couch director City. I've never been a Buzz guy.
Talk about Buzz. Yeah, go ahead. It's annoying.
I don't know. Just never. It's too stereotypical, annoying brother. I don't like. Nobody would be named Buzz in real life that we would take seriously. You just hear it. You see the haircut. You just know he's gonna be a dick. It's just too easy.
Yeah, Buzz is the name of a spaceman in Pixar movies. In the first movie, I kind of like Buzz because he's like, he has the shelves where he has a tarantula and he has a Playboy and he has money, and like Buzz is definitely going to have like weed and stuff and pills up there eventually. Like Buzz is going to party hard. Like Buzz is going to burn out. But the opening scene of the
Buzz
movie
knows
too,
a couple
with that,
Kennedys.
Oh yeah, like he knows them all.
Yeah, he's one of the cousins of the scapegoats.
yes, and Buzz just keeps falling upward in life because he has people. But yeah, he doesn't do much for me.
Craig, do you know anybody named Buzz who turned out to be a good guy?
Aldrin?
Yeah, well, he did. That's a pretty big one.
Yeah. Didn't know him
But he's
personally.
like 90, right?
Good friends with Stanley Kubrick, as far as I understand, right?
So Buzz Aldrin was our last Buzz.
Yeah, and Buzz Aldrin will punch you in the face if you say he didn't land on the moon. He did it. It's on camera. It's an amazing video. Yeah, Buzz Aldrin, Buzz Lightyear.
Fictional character.
Yeah, and then Buzz Cuts and Buzz Saw from The Running Man, our guy, but not a lot of those.
Should I throw Buzz on the list for my firstborn?
Buzz Horlbeck?
Yeah.
Not even a nickname, the real name. Put it on.
Buzz Horlbeck kind of plays.
Buzz
Horlbeck's awesome.
Horlbeck sounds like a tight end on the Saints.
Definitely.
Taysom Hill's out. Buzz Horlbeck, start him this week.
Pull him off waivers. Buzz Horlbeck always gets red zone targets.
Yeah.
Taysom Hill likes throwing to him when he's in. Buzz Horlbeck, number
Buzz Horlbeck,
83.
Quietly 4 touchdowns in his last 5 games.
Bill, where did Buzz Horlbeck go to college? Where did he play college ball?
North Carolina State.
Why? Just that's the first one that
Buzz
popped
Horlbeck,
in?
yeah.
That's great.
It's big.
All right.
3-time all
Congratulations,
ACC.
Craig.
Yeah, Craig, you
That's
did
awesome. NC State.
Romo, Collinsworth, or someone else for the director's commentary?
What do you got?
I got Mike Breen.
Oh, you got Mike Breen.
Here's Kevin with another brick bag. That's all I got.
I was gonna do Scott Hansen.
Oh,
but I think after Ohio State, Michigan. I mean,
Gus.
I think it has to be Gus, and I think it's Kevin McAllister, young fella. Ha ha! Soak the whole rope in kerosene. Lights a match. Oh! And full 4 stories. McAllister, the hero. Oh, how does he do that? For 4
Wow.
quarters? Woo!
Unbelievable.
Lights a match. I love you, Gus. Awesome. That's so good.
Great stuff.
Gus.
You really went for it.
I feel like Gus's apex mountain.
I haven't seen you go to a place like that since you were with Heather Mills McCartney.
I went to a deep place.
That might have to go in your reel.
It's incredible. It's kind of disrespectful that I was pretending I lost a leg and she actually had lost a leg.
That's why you're an
They didn't give a
actor.
shit.
That's why they call it acting.
That's right.
Half-assed internet research. Hughes finished writing this film by February 1991 after signing a 6-picture deal with 20th Century Fox, which it started a little sideways for him. That's when we got, what was the female Home Alone one? Curly Sue.
Oh, yeah, Curly Sue.
Yeah.
John Belushi or
Started
Jim
to go-
Belushi.
Went a
yeah.
little sideways. So Linny McAllister, Kevin's older sister, was previously portrayed by Angela Goethals in the first film, replaced by Maureen Elizabeth Shea, if you're keeping score at home.
Got her.
The show Kevin's watching in the first scene is a fictional game show called Ding Dang Dong. It was taped on the set of an actual game show called 100,000 Fortune Hunt, Illinois, hosted by Bob Eubanks.
Love Bob
The one, the
Eubanks.
only Bob
Love him.
Eubanks. So Donald Trump would only let them shoot in the plaza if he had a cameo
Mm-hmm.
plus a fee for the film production. So they agreed to give him the cameo, and then they were going to cut it out. But then they actually kind of liked it.
The
When they
cameo
had
works
it.
well.
Yeah, the cameo's solid.
It's weird. Like if you're just a young person, you know Trump only as a politician. Like back then, he was known as just like the rich guy, and the guy
Yeah.
who like went through rough marriages and stuff. That was his whole reputation.
Yeah, I
There
don't
was
know who
none of
that
this
is
stuff.
now.
The rich guy. I mean, Bezos. Like he's on yachts and stuff. And
But
he's
it
got-
was like Trump's thing was like we didn't even know how much money he had, but
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
he was kind of 80s excess personified.
Yeah.
But going through divorces, there was always women. It always seemed like he might go bankrupt, like he was playing Monopoly and just like buying houses as soon as he could.
And he'd own every building in
Yeah.
New York, and we just didn't have as much access to him. But again, as a kid in Chicago, I was like, "Wow, Donald Trump's the richest man ever." Like
Right.
that's what he stood for, and that's why he's in the movie.
So apparently Pesci suffered burns to his head while filming the scene when Harry's hat got set on fire. So that's the thing that happened.
Do you think Pesci like enjoyed this experience making this movie?
I think they just overpaid him.
Okay, and he's like,
Yeah.
"I got to take this money. I do the sequel."
Yeah, I think Pesci was smart enough to know, like, I'm having a little run right now.
yeah.
I'm going to make my Lethal Weapon 2 money. I'm going to make my Home Alone 2 money.
Yeah.
I'll make my Cousin Vinny. All of this is leading toward me making With Honors with Brendan Fraser. And my run will be over by like 96.
If he had that, that's the foresight, because he might have been like, "How? I mean, what am I? Am I going to be Tom Cruise? Like, I'm this little short guy who beats people up." He has this charming anecdote that he told in an interview where he says, "Children come up to me and they say they know me from the movie and they want me to come and rob their house so they can beat me up." And I still get that to this day. And I was like, "Oh, that's a charming little story that he has kids that know him from home."
Do you think he's ever been assaulted by a little kid?
Because they think they have the right to do it?
Yeah.
maybe.
Like
Maybe.
some little kid just runs in, punches him in the balls
Paint
with a hockey
can
stick.
right to the face at the
Yeah.
airport. He says he liked it.
A lot of promotional partners in this movie, including American Airlines, Coca-Cola,
Yeah, it was
Jack in the
big.
Box, Hardee's, Roy Rogers Restaurants. This was right as they were really starting to figure out how to grab extra money with the movie.
Mhm.
So the pigeon attack, apparently they covered them with real bird seeds, and those
Wow.
were 300 real pigeons. And at one point, one of them got into Daniel Stern's mouth, and it just sounded
Aw.
horrible. I don't think they paid those guys enough.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
I don't like
Sounds
birds.
awful.
I'm not into that at all.
They spent a lot of money on an artificial snow, and then New York had a blizzard, so they didn't need the snow.
I love when that happens.
House was 51 West 95th. That was Uncle Rob and Aunt Georgette's house that's being renovated.
It's a great looking
I don't
place.
know. I don't know if you know that neighborhood at all.
Well, again, the prodigious wealth of the McAllisters. I mean, like they have this incredible brownstone that they're doing a full gut. And, like,
Right.
the price of that. And then obviously people have said a lot of things about the
But,
McAllister
but
house.
yet they're staying at a motel with like free
Yeah,
porn.
what is that? And they're all flying to France in the first one. They're riding first class to France. Like, that is really expensive, but they're at a shitty motel. And then Uncle Frank's like, "It wasn't like this on our honeymoon." I think the joke is Uncle Frank set up that hotel and he's a scumbag or something.
Entertainment Weekly had a real medical doctor checking out the effects of Harry and Marv's injuries and said, at best, brain damage, at worst, death.
Yes.
That was where they landed on that.
I
I like
hate
that they
those.
needed to actually assign a story to figure that out.
Yeah. Look at
It's
this
like
movie.
4 bricks from a 4-story drop, you're
Right.
dying.
It's the same people who are like, Batman's equipment really wouldn't work like that. We know, dude. It's a
Yeah, we
movie.
get it.
We understand. We don't need an expert. It bothers me.
That's why we have a nitpicks category in the
Damn right.
rewatchables.
Damn right.
We like to tweak it,
Let's tweak it.
but I wouldn't assign a story
No.
to find
And
out.
pay an expert.
Apex Mountain Culkin.
I think it is. Yeah.
I think it is too, because now he's had 3 hits in a row, and we're heading toward Good Son. And this movie made almost $400 million.
And it sucks too, because Apex Mountain means you're the highest you're ever going to get, but it's going to go down.
Yeah.
And it did go down quickly. It sucks.
For everybody but Sly Stallone.
Right. Exactly right.
His Apex Mountain was just Mount Everest, and he's still up there.
Still up there to this day.
I can't believe he never came down. Pigeon Ladies, Apex Mountain?
Yeah, and you could also homeless characters like I
Benevolent Christmas homeless characters?
yes. Homeless characters who are not a criminal, a drug addict, or mentally ill, I guess. He really hit the lottery with that one.
New York City as a holiday movie location?
For me, it is, yeah. And for me, it is in the last 30 years. Chicago's got some
I'm
great
sure we're
ones.
forgetting some important holiday.
You know, Miracle on 34th Street is an iconic Christmas movie, and they remade it with Dylan McDermott a few years ago. But I like this better. This is massive.
Catherine O'Hara?
That's a good one. Because she blew up with Schitt's Creek in terms of like the fanhood and everyone that show.
Well, she also had a whole Christopher Guest movies, which is my favorite stuff that she's done.
Oh my God, Waiting for Guffman is unbelievable. I love that.
What's the
movie
one?
so
Is
much.
it Best in Show or
Best in
Waiting
Show.
for Government? Best in Show.
Dog
when,
Show, yeah.
When she just has a history with like every guy,
Yeah, she's
and
like
the
the
guy's
biggest
like the guy's like slowly figuring out, and people are flirting with her. Like, oh, remember that time in Tulsa?
Yeah,
I love that movie. John Hurd. A lot of possibilities for him. He's in Big.
Yes.
Great Sopranos run for him. But I think he became, it's right around here because he became like, oh, John Hurd.
Home Alone dad.
Yeah.
And he's such a dopey character. Like,
Yeah.
he must not be that proud of it. It's a stupid role. I like him in Big.
I
don't get it. It's great and Big.
The Plaza?
I don't know the history of
Plaza?
it. I'm sure presidents have stayed there. I'm sure FDR stayed there. Like, I don't know. Like,
From a pop culture standpoint.
Herbert
I think
Hoover. That's what they say in the movie.
Yeah.
oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Hoover, I don't know. Is that first class president?
I would say
Kinda
for the
third-tier
Plaza, the
president.
pop culture standpoint.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Losing your kids in a movie?
This or Taken? Taken's pretty big.
This made more money than Taken.
This is a bigger movie than Taken. And Home Alone
Soaking a
stuff.
rope in kerosene? Definitely. Daniel Stern? I'm going to say yes. Pesci, 92.
Stern, yeah. Stern was great at the time. I loved him in Wonder Years. Great career, but this is it.
Pesci. We listed what his 92 was. It's pretty unbelievable. Coming off Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Then these three movies all in the same year.
Dude, I got to tell you.
Sky's the limit.
I watched a Tales from the Crypt episode that Pesci was in this week in preparation for this. It's batshit. Joey Pants is in it.
Oh.
Paulie from Rocky is in it. And Pesci gets sawed in half by two twins, and then they have sex with half of his body.
What?
It's right in this run. It's like 1993 and 92. He did a Tales from the Crypt episode. Michael Kamen does the music. Like, it is a crazy episode. I watched the whole thing. I love Tales from the Crypt. But that run you're talking about is in that too. He decided to just do it. I don't know why. It's so weird.
You know what Tales from the Crypt is, Craig?
I don't.
Yeah. See, Craig missed out on a lot of great HBO content just by being too young.
That's on my HBO Rushmore. And that's a tight
You don't know
spot.
Hitchhiker, right?
No.
The Hitchhiker, another one.
Mm-hmm.
You remember The Hitchhiker?
I know The Hitchhiker, yes.
My buddy Jeff, one of my best friends, my best friend from
Okay.
high school, who was really excited about Yacht Rock. And he's like, Yacht Rock did well. Do you think you could get him to bring back The Hitchhiker?
As long as they bring back Dream On. Dream
Yeah.
On is on my Rushmore as
We
well.
were trying to figure out The Hitchhiker, just like, I guess the premise would be he landed. He's just in Malibu now.
Yeah.
He's
it's a
like, he
sequel.
stopped hitchhiking, but now he's one last job, ropes him back into one more hitchhike.
Yeah, it's like you guys with Running Scared, like they're in Key West. They're just retired.
It's
Like,
just-
what do we do now?
that's it. Just kind of breaks the thumb out
I
once in a while.
guess. For good time's sake.
One last one for Apex Mountain. Brenda Fricker. This is right before she's in So I Married an Axe Murderer as the mom, where she's just like the horny Mike Myers mom, and she's great in that movie. So it's right around here for her. I think.
Pregnant man gives birth. That's a fact. Mom, I find it interesting you refer to the Weekly World News as the paper.
Right.
I love her. She's an Academy Award winner. My Left Foot. She's in this movie. She won an
That's
Oscar.
gotta be her Apex Mountain.
Yeah.
I forgot she won the Oscar.
She won an
for that.
Oscar for
I thought
Daniel
she got
Day
nominated.
Lewis movie. I think she
so that's
won.
her Apex Mountain. FAO Schwartz, would you have?
No. Piano scene in Big. The piano.
Great point.
That's
what
it.
else do you have? Anything?
All right, so I got one. This is fun. Is this Apex Mountain for pizza in movies? So when he comes out and he says, Mr. McAllister, a cheese pizza just for you. He opens it. There's this beautiful plume of steam, and he gets in and he eats it. Here's what else I got. Back to the Future 2 pizza, where it's tiny and they make it big.
Right.
Wayne's World pizza, where contractor, no, I will not bow to any sponsor. And they like the commercial thing. There's a big scene in Iron Man where Tony Stark is eating pizza. But I'll tell you my favorite. And
I like the Tony Stark pizza. I think we talked about that
I think
when
you
we
probably
did
did.
Iron Man, like how good the pizza looked.
I think the idea is, I haven't seen that movie in a while, that they brought it from New York on the private jet to Malibu. So they're having New York pizza in Malibu.
Yeah.
And like you want to slice so fucking
Yeah.
bad. But my pizza, Mount Rushmore, Bill, are you a Loverboy guy with Patrick
course.
Dempsey? I mean, who am I asking?
Yeah.
If you don't know Loverboy, there's a pizza delivery guy who turns into a gigolo, and the women order extra anchovies, and that means they want to sleep with the pizza boy. And the phrase of the movie, like the catch line, it's fantastic. His customers always come first. They don't make them like that anymore.
The 80s.
God damn it, I miss
So
that
good.
stuff. Loverboy, but I think Kevin McAllister's Pizza is on the Rushmore, but not Apex.
I always think about if they just had a movie and they pretended it was coming out in 2024. They filmed the trailer for Loverboy, just what people's reactions would be if
And
they're
released
watching
it.
football on a Sunday. Like, wait, what's going on?
They fucked the pizza
It's
guy.
a teenager.
It's awesome.
Pizza boy who fucks grown women.
And he's
what?
barely 18, but they love it.
I wish you would prep me for the pizza thing. I would have spent like 3 hours thinking about this. Maybe
Sure,
next
Brett.
time I'll have more responses.
Along Came Polly, not a bad scene. Hoffman with the pizza.
We talked about that. The Along Came
It's a
Polly.
good one.
Oh, they're eating
He's
the pizza
drinking
and
the
he's doing
grease.
spice.
Yeah.
I really think for pizza in movies, it has to be like the old school, thin, cheesy, kind of saucy, like oil spilling off it, eating on a plate. You have to turn it over. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, the New York style slice, like that's what Kevin has in it. Look, the pizza in Home Alone 1 is good. That Buzz has to barf up, but I want that pizza so bad.
You know, it's funny. There's never been a good Chicago deep dish pizza movie scene because even if it's delicious, it's just so gross to eat as you're eating it. Nobody's like, oh yeah, I got my knife and I'm just cutting.
It's
through.
not for television or for movies.
It's really
It doesn't
not.
photograph
It's
well.
just for
that cheese pull initially, but then it turns into a sloppy
People
mess.
are their cheese is like dripping on their
I know.
chin.
It's my favorite food.
No actress is eating that.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not going to sit down and eat that. I look terrible.
Yeah.
Charlize Theron isn't sitting down and
No.
eating the deep dish pizza. I have one other one, and I should have prepped you for this too, but it's fun. All right. Apex Mountain, fake movies in real movies. So you got Angels with Dirty Souls, and now you got Angels even Filthier Souls or whatever. I got a list, all right? Log Jammin' in The Big Lebowski, great porn movie. Which one's Log Jam? All right. Our Angels Live in My Town with our guy,
Yeah.
Dirk, obviously.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Simple Jack.
You are Dirk Diggler.
Yes, wow. Simple Jack hasn't aged well. Remember when Scream 2 came out and they made a movie that was like it, but it was called Stab? That was their play on Scream 2.
Yeah.
And then the last Terrence and Phillip Asses of Fire in the South Park movie. Which one jumps out to you? That's just my list.
Is this all movies or can I do TV too?
Of course, yeah.
Because Cleaver on The Sopranos was great.
Great. Maltasante.
Cleaver.
That's a great one.
Baldwin.
Oh, that's so good.
I always thought I absolutely would have rented Cleaver if they had just said fuck it
know.
and made the whole movie. And then I guess that's not a movie, but the end of Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh, yeah.
The CSI, whatever.
Crime scene of the crime.
Yeah. The sunglasses coming off. I always really admired how they did those.
You have friends at HBO. Can't we make the Cleaver movie? Like that would be an incredible like.
That's what
in on the
David
joke.
Chase should have done instead of
Make the
making the
Cleaver.
Sopranos prequel. He should have been like, hey,
Yeah.
have
Let's
this
make fun
finally
of
have an idea for Cleaver.
That's great. We got Maltasante in it somehow. That'd be so good. That's
And
a good
then
answer.
Carmelo was like, Tony, you don't think it's a problem? Christopher made this movie about somebody who wanted to kill his uncle mob boss
Yeah,
because
not
he
good.
slept with his fiance. You're telling me this isn't about you and Adriana?
So good. I missed that show, man.
Let's we'll take a break and then we'll wrap it up. Home stretch here.
Yeah.
Cruz or Hanks? So I guess this would be for the dad character, or maybe because there's no adult lead in the movie, maybe everyone's in play, every male. So it could be Tim Curry, it could be anybody.
Or Pesci.
Well,
Oh, it could be one of the crooks.
Yeah.
listen, I don't want to break the rules here. I say Cruz and Hanks for the Sticky Bandits. It's the two of them.
Oh, so we get a tie? Can we do that?
They're Harry and Marv.
Yeah.
Can we do that? I fuck up the whole scoring system.
Well,
I
they
don't want
each
to break
get a
the
point
system.
then, so it would be fine.
No, I hate this. Schrager and I called this breaking the segment on Good Morning Football when it's like, name an AFC East player that you love. And it's like, well, I'm actually going to go with the NFC. Shut up. Just don't break the segment. I will say it's got to be Hanks for the physical comedy. He'd be better than that than Cruz if he's going to be one of the bandits.
So Hanks as Marv?
I think Hanks was Marv. Yeah.
What would you rather see? Cruz as one of the bandits or
Yes.
Hanks? Would you want to see Cruz just getting hit by bricks and stuff?
Well, I think Cruz.
Hanks would do a better job.
Yeah. I think Cruz isn't nearly tall enough for the Pesci role. So I think he'd have to go to Stern. This is mean. I love Tom Cruise. Why am I making dumb
Shots
jokes about his height?
fired.
Why am I love Tom Cruise. I think Hanks. I think, yeah, he's doing the Michael Richards
Hanks
thing.
wins.
Yeah, Hanks.
What's the score now, Craig?
19-15 Hanks.
Wow, Hanks.
Okay. It's competitive.
So racehorse, rock band, wrestler, or fantasy team name We can go Wet Bandits, Sticky Bandits, Angels with Even Filthier Souls, or Duncan's Toy Chest, which, by the way, all could have been titles for porn movies.
So many porn movies.
Which goes back to my child trafficking hottest take.
Yes.
Why is all the stuff in this so porny and Joe Francis-y?
It's
like Joe Francis's Wet Bandits.
Wet Bandits gone wild.
Yeah.
South Beach.
Angels with Even Filthier Souls.
Disgusting.
Yeah. Duncan's Toy Chest? Come on.
You're right.
Yeah.
That sounds gross.
There's 4 of those in this movie.
At some point, Bill, we're going to arrive on a topic that's going to be the Shaving Ryan's Privates Award for the what would the porn name be of this movie?
You know,
could easily do it.
I had this in one of the test things, and I didn't think enough movies would have it, but maybe that should be added.
Like, I think, and we did Meet the Parents. Like, I think that Greg has to like have sex with the parents, and it's called Meet the Parents, but it's MEAT, the parents. You know what I mean? Like, cliffhanger would have been like cliffbanger. And it's so easy. They're just all right there. The Shaving Ryan's Privates Award for what would the porn name be of this movie?
Forrest Hump.
Yeah, Forrest Hump. Bone Alone. Or like, I don't know, something like that.
My buddy Jacko and I used to do this all the
It's
time.
so fun.
Because there was this whole era where the porn would come out after the successful movie, and they would tweak the title, and it was always made us laugh.
So good.
We thought it was so good every time.
Yeah.
Now we just have 10-minute clips for porn.
I remember they did a Hamilton porn spoof, and it was about
did?
it was about the pounding fathers, and I love that stuff. It's so stupid, but it cracks. Not pounding. Get it?
Pickin' Nits.
Okay.
We mentioned the whole audience from The Christmas Choir would not be laughing at a little kid.
Hate it.
The Wet, now Sticky Bandits escaped during a prison riot. These guys are imbeciles. Could you trust them to escape from anything?
No. And also, they take a fish truck to New York. Aren't they in Illinois? Like, that's a picking net.
What kind of prison riots happening in the, outskirts of Illinois?
It's not federal prison. They're in prison for burglary. It's kind of a low-end prison, I think.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Kevin can see New York City from the airport after he lands. He looks out the window, and it's like the airport's the city's right there.
Mm-hmm.
So is he at LaGuardia? Where is he?
He might be at Newark. I'm not really sure. I don't.
I've never been to an airport in the New York area where you could just immediately see the airport or see the city that perfectly.
Well, also, when you get off the plane, aren't you just ready to get the fuck out of there? Who goes and looks out the window for a second when you get off the plane? I just go.
I always feel like the people who have to have the cigarette are the saddest people on the earth.
There's that chamber they go in, right? That glassed-in area.
The cancer chamber.
If you're going in there.
Yeah, if you're going in there, just reevaluate everything.
It's right next to where you take the dogs to shit.
Right. Or maybe it's the same place.
It might be. It might be.
The pigeon lady's explanation for becoming the pigeon lady was because she doesn't want to trust anyone again. My nitpick for this was, you're a crazy pigeon lady covered in pigeon shit. Maybe that's the reason you're fucking mentally imbalanced.
I was on that as well. You said you haven't talked to someone in 2 years, so you're not exactly have a full dance card. She said, I got a lot of offers. I just didn't want to break anybody's heart. You're not breaking anybody's heart. They're not coming for you.
Broken. No. You have 300 pigeons around you. Nitpick, New York City at night. Too clean, too empty. It's just never looked this good ever at any point. Too safe.
There's the one scene where they scare Kevin, and there's prostitutes, and the cab driver's like, it ain't no too much better in here, kid. There's like a 5-second scene where it's scary, and the rest of the time it's like Disneyland. You know what I mean? It's the happiest place on earth.
He's in an abandoned building. There's no rats
or people.
It's just no anybody.
No,
it's just
great.
No shit in the floor, nothing. What do you have?
When the Tim Curry character and the staff go in, and he does the thing with the movie, it doesn't. You wouldn't think that that's a real person firing a machine gun. It's a hotel TV with a crappy little 17-inch Zenith.
It sounds like
he's like, get back in your rooms. There's a crazed guest with a gun. It wouldn't work like that at all. It's not like you have this massive sci-fi system set up. In the first movie, he lights off firecrackers in the pot, so it sounds like a gun. So that one just drives me nuts. I don't like that. You wouldn't think that.
I have a couple more of that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I agree with you.
We've talked about a lot of mine.
Duncan's toy chest. No night security guard.
Nothing. No
Not
cameras,
one
nothing.
person there. No alarm.
Yeah.
They just keep all this cash in cash register. Not one person, just with a flashlight walking around, making sure.
You need like a night watchman in those movies, right? Who walks around with the flash, like twirling his keys. You need some of that.
Yeah, maybe the bandit should have knocked the guy out, made him seem more evil. Where did Kevin get all his props? Like he's got like a nail gun. His props are too good.
I think it's under construction. And the guys are on a break for Christmas Eve, and he just walks in there and he's like, holy shit, I found a treasure chest. Look at all this stuff. I can really kill them now.
My two biggest ones. Kevin lowers himself down a 5-story rope.
Yeah, that's crazy.
At night in a dark building with no safety harness, anything. And I wouldn't call him like Bo Jackson when you're watching him run around and stuff. You're not watching Culkin going, I wonder what sport he's going to pick as an adult.
That kid's got talent.
He's just kind of lumbering around.
Remember when Jerry Maguire sees Ray throw the baseball to you and he's like, whoa! It's not a good throw.
Yeah, I just, they kind of gloss over how crazy that is.
Ludicrous. Remember the presidential fitness test in gym class in elementary school? We do the sit and reach and the rope. That shit was hard. I couldn't do that pegboard. It's fucking hard. Kevin just all of a sudden like turns into Ethan Hunt. He's going down hand over. He's a 10-year-old. Come on, no one's doing that.
4th grade.
Breaking both his legs.
Here's my big one. So Kevin finds his family. They drop all these presents off at the tree.
Yeah.
Right? And they're opening it the next day. He's having a nice little family moment. And then he's like, oh, I should give that ornament to Pigeon Lady. You're not going to invite her back to the house to spend Christmas with your family? Granted, she's covered in pigeon shit, but maybe that's a nicer gesture than just like, here's an ornament. I'll never forget you. Like, how about bringing her up? How about trying to domesticate her? How about giving her like a nice meal in one of the presents?
Shower. Hot shower.
Yeah. Hey, want to shower in our fucking penthouse?
She should have been. It would have been funny if she was like, these are doves. I'm a pigeon person.
What are you, stupid? These look like doves. Do you idiot? Did you keep the receipt? You can return it if you want. Now they would look at that as like a statement on class and wealth and everything. She's standing there. This is a vagrant homeless person covered in shit. He comes down from the Plaza Hotel. Penthouse suite. And he comes.
Could have brought her a cheeseburger.
Anything. And she's like,
cheese plate?
A Christmas order. Give me $1,000, you little shit. I just saved your life.
Yeah.
They were going to shoot you.
Saved his life.
I have this unanswerable. When she brings him up to the Carnegie Hall, like her little thing up there.
Yeah.
How long does she wait before she strangles him and takes all his money and credit card? Like, she's going to kill that kid. She's a homeless person. She just found her ship just came in. She found a spoiled, rich little white kid. She's going to get everything he's made of. And Kevin isn't even, there's a whole.
She's like, I can't believe you fell for my pigeon lady gimmick.
Yeah.
I finally got him.
You bought all that bullshit about pigeons and warmth. I'm here to kill you and take your money. There's a Kristen Wiig SNL sketch where at that very moment, when Kevin goes back to see her at the end, and he's like, oh, I brought all this pizza. And she's like, oh, great, my stomach is rumbling. He's like, I thought it'd be good for the birds. And he just feeds it all to the birds and gives her none of it. So they were on the same thing. He shows nothing.
That's an actual sketch?
Yeah.
I didn't see that one.
I think it's Kristen Wiig who might have been hosting, because it was only a few years ago. But like, she is starving to death. Like, she's probably having to like perform sex acts for food. And like, it's a terrible deal for her. It's freezing. And Kevin gives her a Christmas ornament. She doesn't have a tree.
Where's she going to hang it?
She doesn't have a Christmas tree. She's taking a shit under the bridge. Like, she's homeless.
Come on, John Hughes.
Come on. And by the way, if I'm her, I'm like, hey, I saw that other John Hughes movie where at the end, Del Griffith comes home and have Thanksgiving with Neil Page. He brings into his house that homeless guy. How come I don't get to go up there and take a bath for a living, go for a swim?
Yeah, I can't get like can I be invited to brunch?
No, we'll be friends
I've
forever,
never had
though.
Eggs Benedict. Sequel, prequel, Prestige TV, All Black Cast, or Untouchable. Definitely sequel because they made 5 more.
Haven't seen any of them.
Me neither.
Never seen
My
one
train
second
got
of
off
them.
at Home Alone too. I'm
over.
a Culkin season tickets out
Goodbye.
once they changed.
I don't acknowledge that franchise without Culkin. That's my guy.
Is this movie better with Wayne Jenkins, Danny Trejo, Sid Goldberg, Sam Jackson, J.T. Walsh, Nell, Byron Mayo, Harling Mays, Evil Laughing Ramon Raymond, Long Legs, or Philip Baker Hall?
Just want to tell you that I've really enjoyed The Long Legs from UNCR, and I recently saw the movie, and I didn't see it until like a couple weeks ago, and it's an amazing movie.
Thank you.
And I like when you guys do The Long Legs, so I'm going to leave that be. I look at, there's a gangster in this movie, and he's the old black and white guy, and I think it's easy. It's you was smooching with my brother, motherfucker! Sam Jackson with the machine gun, or Sam Jackson adopting the old like gangster dialect and being like, you ever read the Bible, baby? I got this passage memorized. Ezekiel 25:17, baby. The path of the right. I want Sam Jackson and Angels with Filthy Souls.
1930s Pulp Fiction.
Sam Jackson, yes.
Not Marcellus. What was Jules?
Jules Winfield.
Yeah, I like
That's
that.
my guy. Smooching with my brother.
I just wanted to see Nell in Central Park.
Let's go. She belongs in Central Park.
To the pigeon lady, she points over, have you met Nell? And Nell's like,
Now, would you like a Christmas ornament I have nothing to do with?
Just one Oscar. Who gets it?
What do you got? John Williams? I mean, like
John Williams.
He has a whole case of those.
No, John Williams.
Yeah, it's fine. He wakes up and gets Oscars.
Probably unanswerable questions. Are these the worst non-violent, non-molesting, non-child trafficking parents in the history of movies?
Mm-hmm.
It's way up there.
Even before they lose him again.
Great Santini, maybe?
Santini's... But Santini plays basketball with him and stuff. Like, there's some supportive moments, even though it ends kind of bad.
They're also afraid of him.
Yes. Very afraid of him. I don't think Kevin's afraid of his dad. I think his dad's just an idiot.
De Niro in, what's that movie? This Boy's Life?
Not good.
There's been some bad parents.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
probably
like,
no.
Probably not.
The Sticky Bandits, just really bad CTE, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like Jeremy Shapp's doing the E60.
It's definitely
thing where he's with Marv. Marv doesn't know his name anymore.
I think Tom Rinaldi has a very moving report on Marv and what's became of him in the jail, and he doesn't recognize Harry anymore, and Harry's still in love with him. But no, I think definitely. And Tom Rinaldi just brings the house down, wins the Emmy for the report.
Right.
Yes.
Best double feature choice, Home Alone 1.
I would zag hard and cleanse the palate and watch The Good Son. Just because I watched it a few days ago, I still can't believe that fucking movie.
Oh, I like this. Go Home Alone 2 right to The Good Son.
And
that
this
sounds
is what
great.
became of
I might
Kevin.
do that tonight.
Do it. Do it. He runs up back to the plaza and he comes down and he starts trying to kill Elijah Wood.
Well, in the research, I forgot to mention this. The dad, who is really determined to have the kid have a career, would only agree to Home Alone 2 if they let him do The Good Son, because he wanted him to zag against the stereotype.
You don't want to be cast as a cute kid. Like he was doing pretty well. I think the slogan for The Good Son is like "Evil has many faces," and it's just this picture of Kevin McAllister ready to murder you.
I almost did this as my hottest take, but it's not even a hot take. The Good Son is my favorite Macaulay Culkin movie.
You like it better than the Home Alone movies?
I do.
I can tell. The
I
second
love
I
The
brought it
Good
up, your
Son.
whole body language changed. You lit up.
The Good Son I enjoy so much that I almost, who I decide to do the podcast with, I really want to put a lot of thought into it. It has to be somebody who likes the movie as much as I like it. The scene at the end is one of the craziest scenes of the last 40 years.
So we have this right. She's the woman is holding two sons, the good son and the bad son, off the cliff.
Her adopted the kid who's living with them, or her actual flesh and blood
son,
and drops the flesh and blood.
She drops her actual son to save this kid.
Falls to his death on the rocks.
And you see it drop, and it's really dramatic. I had not seen that movie in a long time.
Is insane.
I forgot that she did that. You can't have that in a movie. That's terrible.
The kid dies. He starts like a 40-car accident with like fatalities.
Yes. Doesn't he drown someone too? And he has a rubber ducky that he keeps.
It's an amazing movie.
He falls down.
You seen The Good Son, Craig?
You got it, Craig. It's unbelievable.
It's one of the best movies of the 90s.
I have not seen The Good Son. No.
It's one of the best bad movies of the 90s, I should say.
But
it's not even a bad movie.
When
it's
she
like well
falls
done.
into the rocks, like and Sloane's like, no, that's how Macaulay falls in that movie. It's really bad. I was shocked when I watched that, but you love it. Good Son. I'm gonna watch it on my double feature.
You didn't enjoy? I
enjoyed the shit out of it. It took me. I thought. I think I convinced myself.
Cool outdoor stuff.
The director of that movie, if I have this right, I think he directed Sleeping with the Enemy too. I think it's the same guy.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
great run for that
same
guy.
Kind of tone, right? Yeah, pretty cool.
Andy Red's Watney Award. What happened the next day? Kevin's parents lose custody. I don't think there's any way they don't. I think Kevin has to move with like his uncle, or not that uncle from the movie, but
not Uncle Frank.
Somebody else's. He's moving somewhere.
the Britney Spears, like a conservatorship or something. Like legal action has to happen. Yeah, an emancipation, anything. You can't continue as a family.
What piece of memorabilia would you want from this movie?
You're gonna think this is weird, but I always laugh when Marv is getting electrocuted and he turns into a skeleton with a wig on. I want that skeleton.
Just have it in the house?
Yeah, I do it for Halloween. I put it on the front porch and it'd be sitting there like a Halloween decoration. And then I have it somewhere in the basement. And I'm like, that's the actual Marv getting electrocuted. I always love that quick shot of him as a skeleton. That's what I take. Well, you're not taking the Talk Boy, are you?
100%.
You're taking the Talk Boy.
The original Talk Boy?
Yeah,
that's probably
OG.
like a $400,000 piece.
It's probably in the Smithsonian. When you go on those websites,
movie
you go
prop
on,
thing, that would definitely go for like
the
$300
OG,
grand.
Macaulay's actual Talk Boy.
The actual Talk Boy that he used in the movie, that's like $300,000.
True. It's kind of cool.
Coach Finstock Award, Best Life Lesson. I wrote down it's better to be with someone else than be by yourself, but you feel like the opposite. So that might actually not be the life lesson.
No, I think he wants to get away. I think the life lesson is, hey, kids, run away. It's awesome. It's so fun. You'll have the time of your life.
If you hate your family?
Yeah, just run away.
Yeah, just get a credit card and go.
Fine, take your dad's credit card and run away. Kevin walks into the toy store and he starts going, this is my best Christmas ever. Like, he is so happy away from that McAllister house. So kids, don't like your family? Just run away. Take credit card out.
Pizza, Coke, fireworks.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Chocolate, ice cream sundaes.
Gets to beat the shit out of some idiots who are trying to hurt him. He saves some kids. He's got some weird friends, the toy store guy and the homeless lady. But, like, he's so happy. Go for a swim, eat some chocolate. It's great.
And then you'll be accused 12 years later for a bunch of hooker murders.
I know.
Across the country.
I know.
Except they've all been tied to Kevin McAllister. A talk boy was seen at 2 of the scenes of the crimes.
Yeah, I was worried about McAllister with United Healthcare guy. I'm like, is that him in New York? Is he back in New York again? Was it Kevin?
Home Alone back in New York. Craig, what'd you think?
I love Home Alone. Obviously, seen it a million times. Seen this maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
I'm nervous.
Yeah, I don't like your tone, Craig.
I don't like how we're starting.
Look, it's a fun movie. I think where I land is like, if this was the original, it would have been just as big as the classic and would have been considered, basically looked at the same way. But the first one to me is so much better. This one, it just has too much sequelitis, to be honest. It's the same bits, less nuance. Everything's turned out to 11. It's just too sweet. It's like a Ben & Jerry's cake batter that's like the 4th brick to the head. I know that stuff is silly and you can be like, you have to look past that, but I think it goes a little bit too far where it's like not funny anymore. There's just so many bits that come back. It's like, you have to do the mom screaming Kevin. You have to do that. Maybe him at the counter doing the, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But like him putting together the shower curtain puppet in literally 10 seconds, the head on fire, the ice cream, the movie quotes. They should have just come up with new bits. These are talented. This is Columbus and Hughes. Like, come up with new bits.
It's a pretty good take.
Really hurtful.
Yeah, but I like it. I like the same. Play the hits. It's that you don't go to a Foreigner concert and play, come up with some new songs. No, just play all the same shit over and over.
That's why I read that Goldman quote at the top. It's about sequels are about comfort.
Tony Soprano once
back
said
with the characters.
Tony Soprano once said the lowest form of conversation is remember when. And I do think that is what this movie is a little bit.
Wow. Craig came in.
You like that?
With that Tony
Like
That's
Soprano
good.
quote.
Having Raj here.
Damn, look at you, Craig.
They could have
2
kept
stars from Raj.
They could have
Got
kept the
goosebumps.
same vibe. It could have been like the same movie, just do different jokes. I don't know why they
So
do
you
the
don't care
same
about the
jokes.
New York City pieces of this?
No, the New York's
Tim
great.
Curry?
The New York's great. It's more Christmassy probably even than the first one just because of the
Yeah,
New
you
York
like that
vibe.
stuff.
That's all beautiful. I just wish it wasn't literally the same jokes for 2 hours.
I'll be interested 12 years from now when little Buzz Horlbeck is watching 1 and 2. Which one he likes more?
It's true. He's a 3-star recruit. People are getting on the radar.
He's already on Snoop Dogg's youth football team.
Absolutely. He should be on the Snoop team.
Yeah.
We're looking out for Buzz Horlbeck. I know people in the league. I'll
Buzz
tell them to look.
Horlbeck's going to be amazing.
Yes.
At least name your dog. Do you have a dog yet?
No.
You
At
will.
least do the dog, Buzz.
All right.
Kyle Brandt, what do you got to plug? Anything?
I'm also doing anything with HBO. I did a children's show, Human versus Hamster. It's a competition show. Me and Sarah Sherman from Saturday Night Live. We hosted it. It's on right now. Yeah, it says stream on Max right now. Yeah, for real. It's a show for like little kids. It's a competition show. It's she and I. We shot it last spring in Canada, and it's like the same people who make Ninja Warrior and stuff, but it's like goofy people racing against hamsters in giant mazes. It sounds insane and ridiculous, but my kids are addicted to it. It's really good.
Do you have to pretend you're missing a leg, or you get to use both of your legs?
They let me do both legs, but
Nice.
I offered to do it. I can do the limp. It's like I can do an accent. I can do the limp. They said, no, we don't want that for this project. Let's keep it clean. I didn't do it.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, Sarah Sherman was amazing.
Great one.
She's blown
Sarah
up
Sherman's
on SNL.
funny, yeah.
Amazing. So cool to work with. Loved her.
Great.
Thanks, man.
And football.
Good Morning Football, CBS, NFL Today, 10 Takes podcast, all that. I don't plug all the stuff here. I come here to do Home Alone too. I did just plug it, but thank you for asking. Good Morning Football with Straigs and Akbar and Jamie.
This podcast was produced by Craig Horlbeck.
Sure was.
Gahau, Jack, thank you. We'll be back one more in 2024,
Let's
and
do it.
that's it. We'll see if the Chiefs are still undefeated at that point.
Who
knows?
They're not undefeated.
They're not undefeated. One loss.
I mean, one
That's
loss.
why you're here, Craig.
One loss defeated. You
That
know
and
what I
those
meant.
poetic Tony Soprano quotes you come loaded with. That's the man right there.
Thanks, Craig. Kyle, good to see you.
You too, bud.